Compton crazy mother named Ice Cube. From the gang called Fellers with Attitudes. When I'm called off, I got a soda. Squeeze the trigger and bodies are hauled off. You too, boy, if you with me. The police are gonna have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out. For the pump mother, it's going out.
Hey!
What's up?
Rock and or roll.
The gang is all here, Gary. We couldn't tell who you were. That was the stranger was here with us.
Best Star Wars episode ever.
I'll take Psy for center squared.
Yeah, we're playing Hollywood Squares. Everybody in the chat, ask us a question, and we'll see which square is the answer.
So Andy will probably come in when he comes in. But Si, you're hosting tonight, buddy. So how's it going to go?
Well, as you know, all you lot went to Joefest, and it all looks like you had a fabulous time. I've seen all the pictures on Instagram and stuff. But I've sort of stayed away from what you've managed to pick up because I knew that we'd be doing this stream and I'd like to see things that you sort of got there. So I've got 10 questions to ask you all on the experiences of Joefest. Start from where you start for at the very end of it. So my first question to all of you is, what was your journey like to get there and who did you go with?
Oh,
nice.
And that goes to anyone.
All right, good question.
Go, Rob.
Right, I'll go first because I was the keener that arrived 2 days before everybody else. That was.
Don't tell Simon the story. The story me sitting in the entrance is brilliant. Listen to his stories.
Here comes the bullshit already.
Yeah, so Gary gets the ticket for Joefest. Thinks, okay, preview night is on Thursday night, so got to get me my ticket, get my flight organized, get my hotel, and arrived on Thursday. And I'm starting to text everybody. It's like, when you coming in? And it's like, well, tomorrow night. And it's like, well, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna kick off tonight. Like, no. It kicks off on Friday night, 6 o'clock.
Singing.
So I'm like there a Thursday afternoon, walking around the hotel, trying to bump into people. Nothing there. Really quiet. I was like, oh, this is nothing. So yeah,
relaxing day.
Get your dates right next time. But, yeah.
Well, I kind of did the same thing because we bought our tickets way early. My wife booked the flight. I told her a little bit wrong, so we actually flew in on Wednesday to Atlanta. We spent the night near the Atlanta airport, and then we drove 4 hours on Thursday to Savannah, walked around Savannah all day, and then at the end of the day on Thursday, we drove to Augusta and got there late. And the first person I saw when I walked in the hotel was Gary, sitting in the lobby, whacking his pud, sitting there by himself.
Nothing on me own.
Like, yay, first person.
He looked cold and hungry.
Yeah.
He's like, please, sir, may I have a morsel?
So after Jeff, who showed up after Jeff? Who was after Jeff?
Me.
Who showed up? Rob showed up?
Yeah, Rob was next.
Yeah. So after a 15-and-a-half-hour drive with my son, yeah.
What was he for that, Rob? Was your son cool with a 15-hour drive?
Oh yeah. He was playing electronics and tablet, and he had his Switch, and yeah, he was
Did he help you drive at all? Did you trade off?
Yeah, we did. I took a nap in the back.
Yeah,
I just put it on cruise.
Cruise in the lane assist.
He's a Texas kid, Johnny. Probably did.
Yeah,
well, that's what I mean. We grew up on a farm. I was driving trucks.
The drive should really only take about 13 and a half, maybe 14 if you got a little kid with you. But yeah, we just hit so much traffic. It was just horrible. But anyways, got checked in the hotel. Gary texted on the way there, said he was already there. So we got checked in.
2 days ago.
Please help me, Gary.
Yeah. Got the kid a pizza. We ate real quick, and then we ran over there and hung out with Gary and Jeff for a little bit. So
I will say on behalf of everybody, Robin, I genuinely mean this. He was a lovely lad all weekend. All weekend. Do you know what I mean?
He was.
Sure. He wasn't any messing. None of us got fed up with him. He was perfect. He was a little sod for running away. I'll give him that.
It takes a village.
I got upstairs. I got upstairs and got in the elevator to take some stuff upstairs, right? Turn around and his son's there.
I've come with you.
I said, "What are you doing here?"
Let's hit the bar.
Yeah, he
goes,
really
don't
took
tell
to
my
it.
dad. Don't tell my dad. So while he's saying that, I'm on the phone. I've got him.
I had that happen a few times too. Where you're like, "Hey, Bryce, where's your dad? He's downstairs." Okay.
He really took to a couple of y'all hanging out and running around.
I tell you what,
so.
though, for a place like that, though, for an 8-year-old, it must be.
Oh,
like,
I know.
You must be like, what is this? This is awesome. You
Yeah.
know?
Like, I met a girl up on 7. We're meeting for Capri Sun.
We're meeting.
I gotta go.
Hi, Danielle.
Well,
Hey,
the thing, Rob, that must have been good is you knew that all of us were there, and no matter what, your son was with one of us. Did that take a little bit of the pressure off?
Yeah,
You know?
I think one time John watched him so I could go to the bathroom. But hey,
Yeah.
John.
Well, we had Transformers to play with. I'm on the floor playing Transformers with the kid. You know?
Yeah.
John would have been on the floor playing Transformers anyway.
At one point they were.
So we have a tradition, Simon. Me and G-Force have gone down. Good old G-Force, man. He's drove every year. You've got to give G-Force credit. He gets the car, he sorts it out and drives. And then John came with us this year, and that was an event, wasn't it, John? So you came because you nearly fell asleep, didn't you, last time you were driving?
Yeah. If this guy that lives down near me, Aaron, he went back and forth with me last time, but we never actually saw each other when we were at Joefest. I was going to introduce him to the group, but he never. We disappeared from each other until it was time to go back home. But yeah, if he wasn't there to help drive a couple times, I would have fallen asleep, or at least had to pull over, and it would have taken twice as long. Yeah. But anyway, this
John,
year
you were another one to go early, John, as well. You were another one when you said, like, Gary, you set off early, didn't you? Because you were going to G-Forces first, and
yeah, the last one I went early, but this one I showed up on Thursday, right? G-Force picked me up on Thursday. We hung out for the day, and then Friday we went to Shabs, and then we got the car, went to Shabs, and we went down. But my air flight in was another hassle. So I did this cheap flight on Spirit Airlines. It was $115 round trip, no bags. To get the cheap price.
Or jet fuel, no fuel.
Yeah, no bags. Yeah. So
seat on the wing.
Really hard.
Yeah.
Just looking forward. Oh boy, my arms hurt.
So I mailed my clothes and the stuff that I was giving to you guys to G-Force. And I have a little tiny bag with me that I was allowed to bring on the plane. That it has to fit under the seat. You know, it has to be small.
Let's call it a set.
I had my toothbrush, electronic. Sorry, I'm doing this. My electronic toothbrush and a toothpaste and deodorant in there with a change with a shirt and some underwear in case I got trapped somewhere and had to change clothes. You know, if you get trapped overnight.
Hey, at least you brought an extra pair of pants this year.
I go through
good on you. And you're wearing underwear again.
I go through the security thing, and the guy goes, "You have to come with us." Takes me to a little room, and he opens up my bag, and he's like, "Why are you traveling by yourself with just this little bit? You're going for a whole week. Don't you need more clothes than this?" And I was like, "Yeah, to get the cheap flight on Spirit Air, I mailed my clothes to my friend, and he was giving me he's going through everything and putting them out on the table, and he's like, you can't have this toothbrush on the plane. It's got a lithium battery." And he throws it away. And I'm like, my phone has a lithium battery. Like, what the hell? And then he's like, well, you can't have this because it has to be less than 3 ounces. And it was toothpaste that was half rolled up. I'm going, well, there's only like that much left.
Yeah, big
in it.
tube, but there's
you know
only
what I mean?
like
Yeah. So it started out bigger than 4 ounces, but what's left is less than 3, and he throws that away. And then he's like, you can't have this deodorant stick. You should have bought the travel size. Throws that away. And I'm like, give me a break. And then he finds the adventure people I had in there. And he goes, why do you have little kids' toys in your bag?
Well, it is.
You walked out of there and your butthole hurt.
Yeah.
Brad, how come you ended up coming, Brad?
Dude, I've been letting everybody else get their pun in. I got there on Wednesday night with Gary.
Yeah.
Because was it Wednesday night or Thursday.
You came in
I
Thursday.
can't remember. I don't know where I was last week, much less that. So
Joefest, you were there last week.
yeah, but and the thing is, I mean, Gary had told me about this at ICCC about a few weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? I think I might come, and then it sort of, things were happening at home. I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to stay home if the opportunity arises, where it's best for me to be home. But then I really stopped and thought about it, and the other half said, you really should go. And I was like, well, all right, you don't have to tell me twice. So it's not I have not regretted it, not one bit. I enjoyed it so much.
It was awesome having you there. It was so cool.
Was this your first Joefest, Brad, as well? Was this your
That
first
was my
one?
first one, yes, yeah.
Well, that's
I'd
what I
heard
meant,
about
Si,
it a
because-
lot.
You know, look behind him. Brad's your Star Wars guy. So I thought, well, all right, you know what I mean? Because Gary said, oh, Brad's coming. And I thought, oh, brilliant. It'd be lovely to meet, whatever. But I thought, I wondered if you'd like this. And you can't help not, because I mean, we'll go through what you bought. And you bought quite a bit of stuff, didn't you? So you did all right. You,
For a
unbelievable.
Star Wars guy filled up on his GI Joe.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy anything.
I don't know what his other half said, Si, but believe you me, if I bought that at Joefest, the last place I'd come home, I would not come home.
I was trying to make it a true GI Joe fest, not a Star Wars fest. So,
So what did you three do about the driving then, Shabby? Did you take turns driving, or did G-Force chauffeur you about and be a nice guy? What happened?
Because G-Force always gets.
I just drive him around.
We get our show for me
I
and
like
John.
to do it.
Got your hat.
We gave him his hat, which he wouldn't wear. Do you know what I mean? We were like,
Well,
oh,
the G stood for Jeeves while he was here. We were like, home, Jeeves.
Jeeves bring the car around.
And you had Chris Mary this time, didn't you, Scuba? That's how you came down.
Yeah, so Chris flew into Louisville because he wanted to experience a good old-fashioned American road trip, and I was like, I don't think you know what you're saying, but yeah, because it's like 9 hours for us. But no, we broke it up into 2 days, so we left Thursday morning because he flew in Wednesday night. So literally, he was sleeping in this room, and then we were like, okay, have breakfast. Okay, we got to hit the road.
Yeah,
and
I saw you had a few traffic problems as well, didn't you? I saw your Instagram post where your traffic was like really bad. And
oh yeah, because Leslie was at the wheel, and she was like, "You did this on purpose," and I was like, "I didn't," but I wasn't asleep. 3 hours to go through Atlanta and just stop and go traffic. It was.
I did like the photo that Leslie sent. I think it was Gary.
It's us, because what happened was Scuba messaged us, oh, lads, we're stuck in traffic. So John makes his video, right? And John goes, no, Steve, we're fine. We're straight through, no problem. About 2 seconds later, we get Leslie sending a picture showing us the middle finger. We're like, charming. Do you know what I mean?
From the back seat.
I'm like,
yeah. Brilliant.
Well, my next question for you is that obviously you've all got there and you put all your stuff in. So what's the first thing you do once you've got to the hotel? So you're at Joefest now, because I've noticed that this place opens. Is it 5 o'clock on the Friday the night before?
Yeah.
You can have a little look round and stuff. Which I wish the Toy Fair did that. That would be great.
Right.
So what's the first thing you do? So you're in your hotel. What's the first thing?
Oh,
go to the bar and see who's here.
Yep. And
Yeah,
get
we
down to the bar as fast
basically
as
went.
possible.
Yeah, we went to the bar area and got a table, put some chairs together so everyone could hang out there as they showed up.
Yep, that's ground zero.
Get our gathering point.
Yeah, it's the hub really of Joe
Right.
Fest.
We kind of took over the lobby area a little bit too this year. It seems like, because the bar. I mean, at one point when we were deciding to go to dinner a couple of nights, there was like 20 of us. And, the bar didn't have enough room. It's a smaller bar, and we actually took over the seating out in the lobby a lot of times, where we just kind of put chairs and tables together. And it's like, man, I hope they don't mind. We're taking over. We're taking shit over.
Yeah.
Hand me those chairs.
Yeah.
That hotel's that big.
Large
Don't
party.
suppose it would, man, would they? Is it true that like you walk around there and there's no staff? Is that
I've never seen, besides the bar, Si, I have never seen anyone work. Never. Never seen anyone work there.
It's sparsely populated because that building is weird. It's been built in phases, and they have one lobby in the back that they don't man anymore, that they don't check people in at. It's not the main lobby, but yet it still has a nice sitting area with a fireplace and a little library
Those
area.
are great area.
Yeah, there was like,
Was it-
what was there like? There's like 2 couches, a bunch of recliner chairs.
Yeah.
So we took that over
Yep.
Saturday night, right? We took
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
We-
Andy's
we were there
song.
till- yeah, I went to bed a little early, but
Yeah.
you guys were there till like 2 a.m.
Yeah, we were.
That was a
Well,
cool
we're getting on.
spot.
We'll be getting on to your evening's escapades. So we'll be getting on to that.
Nice.
But
So
it
the
is
next question,
like,
obviously, is again the 5 o'clock thing. So it opens at 5 o'clock at that night. Do you go in there on the Friday and think, right, start buying it now, or do you
Yep.
think,
Yes.
oh, hang on, I'm going to leave it till
Yes.
Yep.
No, strike while the
Yes.
iron's
I
hot.
went straight to the bin of loose G.I. Joe figures. I bought a whole buttload.
And there's literally,
Him on the floor,
literally
G-Force. It's
every
on the floor,
vendor
wasn't
Yeah.
vendor has bins of loose shit underneath their tables.
right.
Everywhere you can think of.
but getting
I
in was a
beelined
bit of a
it for one
cluster.
and just like
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it on the
this
floor.
year it was that.
Yeah, this year was a problem getting in because you have the VIP, which is like I think you get 1 hour before
Yeah.
Yep.
the general
Yep.
public.
Which is what
But
we.
we went in around to queue up, and then they were giving out wristbands, but they were checking us in individually, and the queue was basically out the hotel door. So
Yeah.
we actually had to queue up, and it took a good 45 minutes to get
Well, then
in.
I was trying to
Over
tell
out.
you guys that you didn't have to queue.
You're right.
Because when I
For
walked
VIP,
up that
you can't
English,
just
I gotta
walk up.
stand
when
in
I
the
walked
queue.
up, the queue was there.
Queue. We have to stand in the
You have
queue.
to
don't we?
stand in the queue. If there's people standing there, you just stand in the queue.
No.
You're English. Get in there. Get in the
They
queue.
said-
That little
they
girl was
said-
yelling at us.
Yeah.
When I got in the queue, a lady came up and said, "Anyone who's VIP, follow me." And I got out of the line and followed her. And she said, "We're going to do the VIP over there." There was nobody in that VIP line. It was like 5 people.
They're always
Yeah.
unorganized there. I think they
Would
changed
have been
that
nice if your
yeah.
fellow mates told you that, but you know.
It's
I-
funny
Right,
because
yeah.
some people
I
like that.
sent a
Cameras-
I put a message in the thing saying, "Don't wait in the line. Go to the right and go right up to the desk. VIPs get right
Yeah.
in."
We like
Thomas,
to
full of figures. As soon as he goes to the toy fair, he's straight to the first table and starts buying straight away. And everyone's
Yeah,
like,
love
just
him.
have a look round. Colin's like, oh, I needed
Nope.
this.
No, you can't, because
Yeah.
if you don't buy that thing that you see right now, when you get around, it'll be
Gone.
gone.
Yeah,
I,
there is
I
that.
had
Yeah.
specific figures I wanted and knew exactly what vendor to go to. So that's what I did on Friday. I would just run
Yeah.
straight to that
I
guy.
had a little plan of
List
it.
of all of us.
Yeah.
You
Well,
had-
did you
had-
all buy something then on the Friday? You all bought something on that
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh yeah,
And they were
tons.
making, and they were
Who
making
pressed stop
deals. They were making deals even first thing on Friday. I mean, I got
Mhm.
I got $30 off my purchase.
I didn't see a huge fluctuation in prices through the weekend. It
Mm,
seemed like.
yeah.
No,
me
yeah.
But everyone
No.
taking money off though. John's right, they weren't they? Because I said it because G4 said and Scuba said to me because the first time I went to I didn't ask for any money off. And these two turned out to me and went, you do shops you can barter with him, and I'm like, oh, all right.
Especially if you're doing a little
Well,
combo
the
action.
British aren't known to do that, really, are they? Do you remember that sketch in Monty Python where he's having a laugh? He says, "No, you're supposed to like say fiver off," and we don't normally do it, do we? We don't like sort of.
You're going to get
do
a
it.
fiver off of
Right.
everything.
Yeah. It's like that story. It's like that story.
Usually.
So when they're at Disney World and they're having that dinner and it wasn't nice, it was a bit dry and all that. And then the waitress came up and said, "Is it all right?" And they both went, "Oh yeah, it's lovely."
If it's a piece that's $125, you offer $90 and you end up with $100 giving them to them.
Unless you're me, you offer 60 and then they go 80 or 90. That's what I
That's true. John Drew.
I cut people in half. I always do.
When John's pricing, you're like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, you're gonna get taken a
Walk
swing
away.
at. No.
Walk away.
No, but that's how he works his magic.
Can I
It
just
works.
say as well, there was a person that came, 2 people that came that obviously Chris Meara came we're happy about, but also Keith and his lovely wife Margaret, and they were all.
Oh, that was great.
It was so nice to see them both. It really
Lady
was.
Margaret.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I got a message of Keith just a couple of days before Joe, just a couple of them, and said we're coming down, and I thought, oh, brilliant! And I tell you what lovely people, people.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we had a great time with them, and meeting Mira as well, and Brad, and Random Steve came back, didn't he, Jeffers? So we saw Random Steve.
Yeah. In fact, Brad, you got show that piece of artwork that Steve worked with Ron Rudat on. That he did a figure for, but Steve was there, a buddy of mine from the Whatnot auctions, and he's been there 2 years now with us and hung out with us, and He's amazing.
Yeah.
He actually did a figure that went with this artwork and did a carded figure for this, and it's freaking amazing.
So that's what Random Steve did. That.
Yeah. Well, this is artwork from Ron Rudat.
Yeah, Ron Rudat did it.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But Ron and Steve worked together to do the artwork, the card, and the custom figure that went with that. So it was an O-ring figure that he put together for this, and that was for the Joe convention last year, not Joe Fest, but the other one. I can't remember which one. What
Joe Lanta.
Joe Lanta, yeah.
Atlanta.
Steve's amazing. He does artwork like he's a graphic designer like him. He does artwork like this.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
Cool. I didn't know Steve was the one who did those.
Yeah. I told him, I said, bring some stuff to you to sell. He's like, Joe Fest has become my favorite convention, and I just want to go and enjoy it and hang out with you guys. And he's hung around with us the whole time, and he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a nice
I
guy.
I get that vibe from you. I got it last year. I've got it even stronger this year. That you do have a great time. You know, it's a really good time when you're there.
I think it's because it's so easy. It's like everything's there. It's like you pull in your car, you walk and you park at the hotel. You walk through, and then you're there and then. Yeah. I know some of you lads don't think Augusta's the nice of all places, but for what we're there for, all the restaurants there, all the bars are there, everything's you know what I mean. It's
everything
I think it's everything you want's right.
There are tons of restaurants within walking distance too. Yeah. Like I walked around Augusta every morning. I maybe got 3 hours of sleep every night. I was just wide awake at 4 in the morning.
I tell you what, those girls dancing at the bar, that was the best night I've ever had at Joe Fest. Watching those girls dancing, they were brilliant. They were brilliant. I was Andy nudges me and I turn around and I think my neck froze. I couldn't.
They were standing on the bar stools.
That's what G4 said then. I think it's nice to have something that still makes it feel like it's Christmas Day tomorrow. You know, you look that forward to something and you get excited and you don't, even at our age, you know what I mean? You don't really sleep because you think tomorrow's the day.
Well, it's funny because there's nothing else to do in Augusta, really. I mean, you're at the convention and that's kind of it. So you're really focused.
Yep, that's what I'm there for.
Yeah,
but it's like you want to get up early because you want to like go downstairs, and it's like who am I having breakfast with? Like we're headed down.
Yep, I texted Pete in the mornings a few times for Shabby. It's like we're heading down. Yep, we're heading down too. See you there.
Let's do it.
And the day starts.
John had breakfast with a Viking,
and I was already done eating. Yeah. I was up at like 6. Yeah, I had breakfast with a Viking one day.
And so did he.
One of the guys who made one of the actions, the guys who was doing their own action figures. You know, like it wasn't which booth was it? I couldn't even remember the guy's booth.
Who was it? Zartan or somebody?
Yeah, Zartan was there with
There was a lot of custom stuff there.
Yeah, it was a shame really because some of the lads had asked me for. I was going to try and find a Roger Moore for me and VTR and a Hulk, and so me and G-Force went to LaCoy's Toys. He was sold out, nothing. I had absolutely nothing left at all. Because even G-Force,
I had known earlier because I saw him.
He goes, no, his booth just his work is. I think Damon who came with us, and Damon was a dead nice guy. I want to really like Damon.
Was really nice.
Damon bought a LaCoy toy. Yeah. He got one. He was lucky. He found one at the start. They sold dead quick.
Yeah, I think he got the Axel Foley.
That's the one he got.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's the one I wanted. I went back for it and it was gone. I was like, damn it.
It was like Saturday morning at like 11 a.m. and he had nothing to sell. Matt did. It's like over.
Sold out fast.
Yeah.
I did a lot of. Hey, where's Rob? Oh, he's back on the floor shopping.
You know, it's funny because we watch all these videos on Joe Fest, and Rob was in them shopping more than anybody. Every video, Rob's in there.
Rob and Gary, I've seen every video.
Gary, the non-G.I. Joe guy.
I can just walk around and just look at. I mean, it's like. Yeah, it's like looking on eBay, but in real life, you know. I mean, it's just like they have everything there. I mean, stuff.
It's overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. You look around and you go around, and then you go around again and go, I don't know if I went to this booth, and it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I-
you did. And then you go, but I've not seen this, and then I've not
Right.
seen this, I've not seen this, and then you move
Yeah.
on.
There's no way that
It's
was
just-
there.
And it's worse when you watch the YouTube videos on it,
I know.
and you're like,
Yeah.
hang on a minute,
Yeah,
I
see
never
that.
saw that booth.
Where was that?
I never saw
Yeah.
that.
I watched one of the Joe Fest YouTube videos like 2 days ago, and the guy was painting across a in the package Adventure People dragster, and I'm like, I didn't see that. I would have bought the shit out of that. Damn it!
Yeah, it was like what Gary
Seen
was
a lot
saying,
like
like
that.
when one of us was like, "Oh, we're looking for such and such," and we're like, "Oh, that's over there at that booth,
Down
over
three
there."
booths
You know what I
to
mean?
on the left.
And then we would beeline it over there. Yep, right there in that case. There it is. You know?
Yep, take the village, and that's
Yeah,
part
It
of
was
digging
it was
in and knowing,
truly
like, here's
a
that.
vintage free for all. I mean, anything that you could think of was there. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't think ever in my days I was going to go to a GI Joe festival, walk away with 4 hot toys, and then a
You and your
complete
hot toys.
Voltron set and all the
Right.
figures complete. That was just
Not
crazy.
only-
Four hot to
Like, listen,
five.
not only
4
not
plus
only
1.
did he
Quit.
not only did
Four
he
was
get all
Friday
the
night.
figures loose, not only did he get all the figures loose, but he got them almost all carded as well.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you bought that thing at the end, which no doubt you'll show. But that thing was the last thing you bought was awesome in that tub. Was it you that found it, wasn't you, John, and said, "Look at that there"?
John, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
John's
wasn't
the one
G-
that helped spend my money.
And wasn't it G-Force too? G-Force.
Oh, was it
Oh, it
G-Force?
was
John
G-Force.
found the
It was
first one.
G-Force. Right.
Well,
I
let's
blame
You know,
you,
that's a nice
G-Force.
segue really into my next question, because my next question, without obviously we're going to see your pickups, but my next question was, did you find yourself buying something that was totally unexpected?
Yeah.
Yes.
You've gone in, you've got your sort of ideas, what you look out for and what you like, but did you find
Yeah.
something and buy something that you like, I never thought I'd find or get that here?
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
No.
but everything
Well,
else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For those that I think had been there before, we kind of knew that place runs the range. I mean, for God's sakes, that's the third year I've seen the same guy there that has a booth of nothing but $6 million man figures and everything.
Yeah.
That's from
Oh, yeah.
$6 million Man. And so it's like, if you're a $6 million man fan, that's the guy you go to,
But no Bigfoot.
but no Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have any Bigfoot this year.
No, I was looking for him.
Usually he has like 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
did
had a
last
bunch
year.
last time.
Yeah.
And yeah,
No
the next question
Godzillas.
really
There were
plays into
no
what Brad
there were
said.
no Shogun Godzilla this year either.
No, I never saw one of them.
Saw a lot of other
How many flags? though?
Mazinger.
That was
Flags?
that was for me.
Five?
That was
Oh.
I've never
There
seen
was like
flags.
10.
Yeah.
There was about 10
Flags
flags.
in Defiance. There were so
John,
many
you said you
Defiance
didn't
things
see
there.
any terror drones. I saw like
There was
10 terror
two.
drones.
Yeah,
There
I
was
did
like
too.
2 or
I
3.
saw a ton of them.
That's after the Friday night crowd bought all the terror drones because all
Yeah.
the dealers
Bought them
had them
all,
under
right,
their
right.
tables.
God, I was-
And we've seen the same dealers with the same Defiance like 3 years in a row now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cro-Mag still
Well,
has
he wants
that.
a lot for that one. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to say in my video that there was like at least 9 or 10 flags, but when I had gone through and counted, there was only like 2 or 3 Terradromes, and there was like 2 or 3 Defiants.
Right.
So I was like, shouldn't the Defiant and the Terradrome be worth more and be more sought after and more talked about because there seems to be less of them on the market, where the flag seems to be so common that to me, like half the booths there had a flag, and it should be less money and less talked about. You know what I mean? But I think it's that thing where the prestige of having something 7 feet long keeps that value high, keeps that interest high.
Well, it's
you know?
Friday night. It was about 7:30, and I had already talked to 3 people who had bought Terradromes.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Because when the price, what you see Saturday and Sunday are the Terradromes that are like, they're a little pricey,
Too
and
high.
they're not coming off of that. But the ones that were like priced to move, oh yeah, they
already
go
gone.
fast Friday night.
Yeah.
I didn't know it rotated, Jeff.
Well,
I
it
got
does
it.
if you put it out of
It does.
spinner.
I got it on Lazy Susan.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe shit. I need to sell mine. It's too big.
Yeah, Lone Dragon, we're all into Barbie dolls. This is the Barbie doll stream. So thanks for joining us, Lone Dragon.
If you ain't soft now, we might see.
See, look at the shabby pickups. He might be right.
John's taking the piss, and I'm like, oh, I've got this gem. And,
yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
I actually
you know what Brad said before just then. You know what's the new and old like? You know, if you go to Joefest, are you just as good with vintage as what you are new stuff? So he's like all ranges covered, if you like me.
Yeah,
because like the Toy Fair, it's mostly out vintage, but there is quite a few modern there that you can pick up as well. What's Joefest like for that?
Yeah,
it's mostly vintage. Like every booth has some vintage, but there are a couple. There is that one guy who seems to specialize in like Black Series and other 6-inch.
There's some mega booths with 6-inch figures with just bins of them.
Savage Crucibles.
Yeah, like the whole first aisle is probably all modern, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
The first aisle
and then you get
modern, and then that could go.
Yeah, then you have all the independent sort of smaller toy companies.
Boutique.
Yeah,
boutique companies.
Yeah. That one booth had a lot of those blockies, those Transformers blockies.
Yep,
a lot of legacy Transformers.
There's a lot of 6-inch booths in the back.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go, G-Force.
Yep.
So you can find the modern that you're looking for, but I mean, me, it's like this is like compared to other shows that I go to, this one has the most vintage stuff of any show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean every other booth has a lot. Yeah, every other booth has a whale.
So for that sense, I think it would be more like Echo then, wouldn't it? Here because it's Star Wars, the vintage Star Wars. So maybe it's more like Echo, I think, than the Toy Fair. I think when I hear of Joefest, and the more I hear of it, I think it's more like I'd say Echo is than what. Even though obviously it's twice as big, there seems to be more variety outside of G.I. Joe. It more rings a bell with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's probably pretty accurate, Si, because watching like VTR's videos and stuff, like they have similar glass cases on the table where you'll have a mix of Battlestar and your Tron and all kinds of different 80s properties, you know? It's not just one.
I think the people that go to it for the first time thinking it's just a Joe convention are surprised how much there is of other stuff. Yep. Even though there's not a ton of other stuff that's super high end, there is a lot of other stuff. You know,
there were an awful lot this year. There was an awful lot of Star Wars, especially
there was a lot of Star Wars this year,
especially carded Star Wars. Like I felt like last year,
not as much high end Star Wars as there was, say, 3 years ago. Gary and I, out of the gate, were on a hunt for a Vinyl Cape Jawa, and 3 years ago, I think I saw 3 of them there, and I didn't see any of them there this time.
I didn't see one this time. No.
Yeah,
no. And apparently there was one there, but we didn't see it.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's
that one dude had 3 blue snags though.
Yeah,
in the same case.
I used to see a lot of blue snags. Used to see a lot of carded yak faces. Used to see, but this year I didn't see any of that. I didn't see hardly any of that.
Only Toy Federation.
Yeah,
Toy Federation had some higher end stuff.
I think I brought I think I brought the highest end Star Wars stuff with me and sold it to Gary.
Shocker.
I saw that wheeling and dealing in person.
Yeah, you did in the room.
Anna was counting it one purse.
Yeah. Gary's counting out the money. She's like, "Are those hundreds?" I'm like, "No, they're 20s."
three Fendi bags.
Drink less wine, buy less Star Wars.
So let me ask you, for G.I. Joe fans, are the prices good? And what's it like for rarities? So if you're looking for something, 8 times out of 10, it's going to be at Joefest. And if it is, are the prices acceptable, or are they like, Joefest tax money on top?
No, actually, Joefest is very reasonable. This brings me to something I was going to ask. Is there anything that you guys saw that now that you're back home, you kind of wish you bought? And for me, I was kind of a little bit on the hunt for the Buck Rogers ships, the Draconian one and the Buck Rogers white, the fighter ship. And I saw the white ship in the box. I think he had like 150 on it, and the Draconian one he had for 125. And I was talking to the guy, and he's like, "I'll sell it to you for $100." And it was in the box. And,
yeah, it was.
And
nice.
I was like,
It was nice,
I didn't pull the trigger because at that moment I didn't have a lot of extra money, and it would have had to have gone on the credit card, and I really didn't want to have a lot of money on my credit card that I'd have to pay off. So I said no, because I thought in my head those are about the prices I've seen online and in other places. And I ended up looking them up after I got home.
You went, what?
And I'm like, oh crap, they're like $250. Like
yeah,
it's like
that's what I saw today.
Yeah, so I was like,
the one Draconian fighter I saw loose, and it had like the canopy was broken in two, but it still was held together.
Yeah.
And I think he wanted 150 for it, and he wasn't budging.
He wasn't. Pete, I pointed that one out to you. We were standing there looking at stuff, and, and it's like he wasn't budging on that.
No, I was like, he's like, it's still good, and I was like, yeah.
Last year, one of my prize things I came home with was a boxed Buck Rogers White Starfighter.
Yeah,
it was complete, and I think I paid $125 for it.
Yeah, see that's a good price. Yeah,
yeah.
I was mega tempted over that G1 Soundwave. That was $250 in a box. That's all. It said that's all it was.
Yeah, that was.
But I was thinking that was on the. Yeah, but that was on the Friday. I saw it, Pete, and I was like, do I buy that straight away? The first thing I buy.
I mean, that's a
just
big
wish
lump.
you'd said something to me. £180. That's all that
killing your brother
for a box Soundwave G1, and he walks past it, and he's like, "Oh, I saw a G1." It was like, I was like,
yeah, it looked good too.
Why did you buy that?
Just like that box G1 Megatron that was like $70.
Oh man!
What amazing! You want it for free, and you went, "No, I'm all right. I've got one."
Not good. I wouldn't know anybody who'd want it.
No, I don't know anybody.
What amazed me, Sky,
as
somebody that watch people's videos is that when you're doing restorations, it's like if you listen to like Stu Norris and stuff like that, he's always looking for missiles and pieces of the GI Joe. There were just absolute tubs of parts, and if you spent the time, literally, you could rebuild. I'm sure anything and everything. It was
you're like, what's in that tub?
Oh my! It just blew my mind.
Rockets.
I've never seen just
Yellow
like.
rockets.
Tubs of missiles, torpedoes, rockets,
we
and it was
out,
just tub after tub after tub.
We filled out a number of things. Didn't I think Miwa got a bunch for his vehicles? Like other people got, so we found stuff for Shabby's, for Gary. It was like we went digging and we found everybody who needed. Was it G-Force's
Rattler, Killer Whale
parts?
stuff?
Yeah,
and in 20 minutes, he goes, "I got it all." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, Chris and Pete and I sat and chatted like a week before that and said, "Okay, Chris, what are you trying to find pieces and parts wise?" And we helped him put together a whole list of stuff. He had that list completed the first night.
Yeah, we went through all these bins. Yeah.
That was one of the most fun parts I found this year was the scavenger hunt for everybody. And John and I were talking about that after the fact.
Yeah.
It's so much fun just going out and looking for parts and pieces for everybody.
We were all helping each other find the parts, and everybody kind of went booth to like 3 or 4 different booths, and then we all came back together. Here's all the parts
just
found, you know?
Shabby's got 4 alligators.
Yeah, now Shabby's got 4 alligators.
So I was looking for this. So and John had done this giveaway thing, and Jeffers had won it, and it was a crop master sign. Jeffers said, "Oh, just give it Shabby because Shabby, likes it." And I thought,
I already had one.
Seems as though John and Jeffers did that for me. I'm going to complete that at Joefest. That was one of my tasks to do. So I asked what was with it, Simon. So it comes with this black collar, which G-Force had found, and it comes with this crocodile. Now, all these lads are talking about we couldn't find this crocodile for 2 days. No one had him. And all of a sudden, Gary Moore found one for us, and we'd found one. But I was back in the hotel, so Gary Moore comes in and he goes, "Look what I've got." I said, "I found it." He threw it at me. So now I'm gonna cost down.
Then we found the whip. Did you ever find the whip?
Yeah, we found the whip.
We had the whip too. Yeah.
Yeah, we found the whip. And guess what?
But
I
then
lost.
you
No,
lost
I can't
it.
find
Francis
You
anywhere.
got
Can't
lost
find it.
accessories,
it.
little guns.
I mean, how many booths did you guys have to step over somebody sitting on the ground going just pawing through a bin?
A
Yeah.
So
lot
was
of them.
John.
It was
It was so
usually
was always on
John.
the floor.
It was John. It was really John.
The Action Force booth, G-Force goes, Scuba, look down. And I looked at I go, oh crap, I'm kicking Action Force annuals stacked up. I was like,
Oh,
thanks,
yeah.
man. So I was like, woohoo!
There was a lot more Action Force stuff there this year, which was really
How do
cool.
you think
Yeah.
he did with the Action
Yeah,
Yeah,
Force?
that was nice.
Does he do
Well,
well?
I bought
Did
some stuff from that
awesome.
guy because I
They-
wanted the Action Force versions
Stefan
of the.
and Steven.
Yeah.
Yep, they brought triple what they brought last year.
Because last year, they were empty by like halfway through the show.
Right. Yeah, Saturday afternoon they had nothing left. Sunday, so they
I'm gonna have
had
to come with a big one.
1, 2, 3, like 3 8-foot tables plus shelves behind them.
Yep. All
8 or
action-
9
all-
Robo Skulls,
Yeah.
easily 30 Panthers complete.
Yeah,
Um,
the Mobat
you
tank
name-
stuff was lined
yeah,
up. They had
the Z Force tanks.
Yeah, they had the amphibious personnel carrier, like lined
Mhm.
up there.
You name
Yeah.
it, they had it. And Sunday afternoon, well, late morning, they had condensed down to about a 2-foot by 3-foot area of
Yeah,
just
it's taken
random
off.
stuff. That's it. Everything else
Hey.
was gone.
And the guy right next to them was selling the exact same stuff for like 20% more price, and he was
Yep.
still getting.
He was
Oh,
still
I
moving
thought
some stuff.
they were together.
No, they
That
were
was the
not
difference.
Yeah, it
together.
was separate.
Right.
Oh yeah, it was two separate people. Yeah,
I
You
got
had
a
They come together.
I got a question for
Stefan
Andy.
Steven together, but then that other bloke, I'm not sure who he was, but
Right.
I got
everything
a-
was proudly priced over there.
Proudly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got a question for Andy. Did you ever regret getting out of G.I. Joe, Andy, during any of that time?
And here was me
It's
thinking you was
twitchy.
gonna have a nice nap.
Yeah, I thought that. Well, it was hard to walk by. There were like 3 booths this year that had Joe cardbacks. And
Yeah.
I actually picked up a bunch last year, and it was like, cardboard is kind of my vice. So
Yep.
So it was hard to just walk by those and not like. I knew if I started flipping through them, I'd be like buying a bunch for other people.
Mm.
And it's like, no, honestly, for 2 years in a row, the hardest thing to walk by have been the Transformer Seeker jets.
Oh,
I have been 2 years in a row, they have been pulling at me.
They had some nice ones this year too, Andy, didn't they?
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah.
That one
Yeah,
guy that
Andy,
And also that box Soundwave, like, believe me, I
Mhm.
walked by it a couple times just to see if it was still there.
yeah.
So
you were disciplined.
And
I
speaking of, one morning, was it one morning? I said, well, I kind of wouldn't mind finding a Thundercracker original vintage G1 because that's the last jet I need. And then we went to, was it dinner? We went to dinner and here's
I found
Gary
loads of
and Brad.
Thundercrackers. They're all dancing at the bar. Tons of
Here's Gary,
Thundercrackers.
here's Gary and Brad sliding over this gift. And I was like, wow, Brad, thank you so much. You know?
I can't. Hey, I didn't turn down anything. I walked away with everything I wanted. It way much more than I wanted. So.
You thank God you drove there. I can't imagine you having to ship everything home.
No, no.
no, there was no way.
Nope.
Keep on Collecting says we need to halt our collecting to get to Joe. I had your T-shirt on at Joe Fest.
There
Yeah,
you go, there you
we
go.
represented. Do you know what I mean? And this is someone you all might know. So right here,
Hello, him.
as soon as it comes
Hello.
up,
Yay.
there, right there. Hi, Emily. Nice to see you, buddy.
How you doing?
We know her.
Yes.
But yeah,
the
Sai,
wi-
to your
the wi-
original question, yes, I believe that Joe's are a lot cheaper there. So I previously made a list of figures I wanted and went and checked on eBay for sold items. And I would say each item I got was $20 to $30 cheaper than what it would be if I would have got it on eBay.
Oh,
and you get numb to seeing things. You get numb to seeing things that you never see anywhere else.
It was
You know,
very
you get to
reasonable.
bump
Yeah,
That's
all
what I was
those.
before when
So,
Gary was on about
so
going through the bins. You know, when you said about going through all the bins
Yeah.
and stuff, it's like normally them sort of little accessories now can be quite expensive, especially when I see the Star Wars ones that Echo and stuff. So was that a good price, Gary? When he was going through, he was like, "Yeah, I'm having that. I'm having that." Was it like a reasonable price?
They were priced reasonable, and
Yeah.
again, if you did a bundle deal, they were always open to
Yeah, they were.
what's your best price
always
on this?
bundle.
They
Yeah.
surprised me in terms of how much they did take off, because sometimes when you go, oh, what's your best price on that, you get like a buck off or something like that. They're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I
no
just
problem.
kept going up to the
Take my
vendors
money.
with handfuls of stuff. I'd just go up with a handful of stuff and just be like, "You take 40 for this?" They'd be like, "Yeah." They don't want to count it out. Like,
And especially
No,
if
they
you
want
had
to
the
get rid of that
cash.
stuff.
Yeah.
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 Sags, tell them about
especially-
your collecting case that we found. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I got it right here actually because that was one of my favorite finds. So I usually collect these. I usually collect collector cases. I collect these, and
Those are so cool.
with the
Look,
trays.
you collect everything.
And
Yeah.
generally, these cases with the trays will cost anywhere from $25 to $40, sometimes depending on what picture's on the front. And I don't have this one yet. I've got another green case that's similar, but the writing is on only one side and the characters are over here. Like, so this technically is a new case, even though I think it's from the same company. But we walked by, the tag is still in it. It was $10.
Nice.
And what's
There you
funny
go.
is I grabbed a handful of stands out of one of the
sticking it in the
bids,
box.
and I was like, throw in these stands for $10 with the case, and you got a deal. The guy's like, fine. Just give me $10. I
Get
had
his
to
asshole
throw
out of here.
something else in. I just couldn't walk away without like throwing something else in the deal.
The Joe collectors this year felt like they were more than willing to make deals more than anybody else in any years.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like
I think so.
Yeah, one of the booths, I made a stack of Joes and I was counting out the cash, and I was 30 short and I had to go in another pocket. He's like, don't worry about it. I think he was just tired of me standing there counting it out. So
That's what he gave me. He gave me $30 off that big pile of Joes I bought.
I bought a GI Joe number 2.
Deal.
I bought a GI Joe number 2 comic book for $5.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's like, and it was a little beat up, but still, it's like that's a $20 book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam
That sounds
book
good. I like that sort of thing. Yeah.
It's very fluid. And even if you see
Okay.
that you might buy, you technically, if it's not something super, super rare, down the aisle or one over, you might find it for $10 cheaper than the other person. I mean, it's that kind of like, it's very fluid.
I
like it when John bought the Action Force and he said it was a knockoff G.I. Joe. Do you remember, John? You said
I bought that the
knockoff
flak.
G.I. Joe.
I bought the Action Force flak cannon, and I walked by Shabby. I was like, "Yeah, I had to buy one of these knockoff ones just to get it going. I had to,
I didn't see a lot of like Mission Brazil stuff or any of that really higher end stuff.
No.
Well, Plastic Universe had a few in their case.
Did they?
But,
there were a few to be had, not many.
Yeah.
Random Steve, he got that 1982 Sears.
Yeah,
right.
We bought
over
it.
Command Center.
Yeah,
that was the pickup. That first VIP day, Friday night, he picked up a lot of stuff. He spent a lot of money, and that Command Center, the cardboard backing and the playset, that was sweet.
Yeah.
Well, the guy
he was so jazzed about that. He told me about that like earlier, and he come by, he saw me, he was like, "G-Force, I got it."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
We were looking in it, and he had 550 on it, and Steve was getting twitchy at 550, and he's like, "Oh man, I have to figure out, how to, if they take like PayPal or whatever. Like, I don't have the cash to be throwing on that."
Right.
And then he goes, and I was like, "Steve, you want to open it?" No, like, what would you? And the guy was like, "I'll take $400 for it." He goes, "I'll show you." He goes, "This is my buddy's, one of his things. He's got a book," and he goes, "I'll show you right here in the price." And he flipped it right open and showed us like the minimum that he wanted to get was 400. He goes, "Give me 400."
Wow.
I mean, it's like boom, done.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just paid $400 for just that, but because he came up to me and goes, "I spent way too much money tonight," and he
Oh
showed
yeah,
me
he was all over the place before that,
That
and that
first-
was like the, we're getting ready to, they do the like, no, seriously, we're closing. Like,
Right.
get out.
Get out.
yeah, and 'cause
Preview night is over.
he opened up his bag and showed me like, "Look what I got." I'm like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah,
And
he's
it was
like,
complete, and all the cardboard was in great shape, and it's like, "What'd you pay for that?" He's like, I think I paid around 400. And I'm like, "Oh man, that's a damn good buy."
he was like, let me see if my PayPal works. Scuba, what's your PayPal? And so he was like, made it. He found me, and he's like, I'm gonna send you $1, and he was like, oh yeah, this will work. Okay, you take PayPal, and the guy's like, yeah, sure, and he's like, done.
Yeah, Steve killed this trip. He was awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things I did see, Si, one of the lads showed me a photo, and I don't remember which one of the lads showed me. It was a Lego set. It was a Star Wars Hoth set for
Oh my god.
$10,000, Si. $10,000.
Best
Best
spin.
bin
It
set.
was
wasn't it?
Bespin,
Yeah,
yeah.
the best
I
in
was
set,
like,
yeah.
I couldn't get over that because I was like an old lady. So I go, well, what are you paying 10
Yeah,
grand
that was
for
that
that?
Eternity of Dreams.
Yeah.
What was
Oh,
it?
I didn't go into their booth
Yeah,
proper.
nice set. Yeah.
They
It's a
had
Lego
some nice stuff,
Bespin
dude.
set, but
Yeah.
it
Oh,
must be
wow.
ultra rare or something because
It
he
was
had
the older
10,000 on
it
it.
was an older set, yeah.
It's
The
retired.
best
Well,
thing they had was that Masters of the Universe trike. Do you remember the trike they had at Eternity?
Yeah.
They had,
Oh,
they
yeah.
had a
Road
Thundercats
Ripper.
one on it.
Yeah, the Thundercats one.
Yeah, but it
and
was
Road
the
Ripper.
Road Ripper. That was cool.
Yeah.
So cool. That was awesome.
I got a question though for Shabby.
Well, what-
Did Jem? Did she remember you from last year?
Scuba Pete, would you like to tell them, Scuba?
Yes.
Elaborate.
So Shabby was very worried that Jim would not recognize him because it's been 2 years,
Right.
since they interacted.
Yeah.
We walk up, John drooling all over,
Yeah.
and he's going on about, you remember this, John? You're going like, you shaped our childhood, and I'm like, easy.
Well, she videotaped it. She put it on her website. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
My whole
It
interview
was
is on her website.
cracking me
Yeah.
up. Anyway,
Yeah, she was a bit of a saucy minx that weekend.
Yeah,
she was having a blast.
A bit.
And so then Shabby starts talking. She goes, I remember you from 2 years ago. And I
He's
went,
like the
in his ear, I go, told you.
She goes, you're the English guy.
Yeah,
You're the
Yes.
English guy, and I was born in
Yeah.
England, and
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
they had a moment.
She was awesome. She's
Shabby,
such a nice lady.
you kind of go, oh.
I do though. I think it's because she's
She's so
such
nice.
a nice lady, ain't she? I
She's
remember
so
Mira
nice.
talking to
And
her
her
for a while.
manager's like double
Yeah, she was
fun.
cool. She's
a lot of times
she was a
those
lot nicer
handlers
than
are
the
like,
last one. Well, she did have a young guy that worked with her 2 years ago, and he was a bit, oh, don't do this and don't do that. And I was like, mate, I'm just talking to it. You know what I mean? I understand the rules of my restraining order. I won't go anywhere near her. I promise.
Yeah.
Hugs
But
are
yeah,
50.
yeah.
It's a shame you wasn't there because then she'd go, oh shit, there's two of them.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah, she will. Yeah.
There are
But
two of
that's
them.
nice. She remembered you, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's nice. You know.
Yeah. Well, Sykes Q loves
That's it.
Sykes
She
Q love.
remembered you.
Simon, you can't put a price on
Is
true
that what
love.
it is?
You know what I
That's
mean?
what it is.
I'll give you an example. Lego $10,000.
I bet
Shabby
she
and
went,
Jem.
thank God
priceless,
Super
you
Awesome
know.
was here. Thank God he was here.
Thank God
And
Shabby-
Larry Hama was dead nice again,
Oh.
giving away free autographs as long as you had them
I'm going to
personalized.
give Rob credit
Larry
for that
Hama-
because Rob was. I mean, you've all told me about Larry Hama, but to me, I'm like, but I realised after talking to you lot what he actually is to GI Joe. This is a big deal for GI. So Rob was saying, Shabby, you've got to get his autograph, man, and all that. So
Yep.
I bought a $3 comic, and then them comics, so like you just said before, Jeff, about the price, that was a really good condition for $3, and he signed it, and he was a really nice guy. And so I'm glad I did that. I'm glad you took me into doing that, Rob, because I went up and got it for him, and that's something I'll keep.
Same
Did
for
you
me.
hear what he
Yeah, I
did?
mean, you could walk right up and get his autograph. It wasn't like
Yeah.
you had to wait in line and it was free, and he would talk to you. I mean,
As long as he was
that's really nice.
personalized, it was free. And Chris Miwa went up there, and Chris has got a little bit of an accent. And he asked him, "It's like, where are you from?" And he said, "I'm from the Netherlands and stuff." And I guess when he was in the army, Larry Hama was stationed in the Netherlands, and so he sat and talked to Chris about the
Stationed
Netherlands.
in Germany, and then he would go down into the Netherlands. I
Yeah,
think.
and
But he had like a half-hour conversation
yeah,
with Larry Hama.
and he had Chris come behind the table and hang out
Yeah.
with him for like a half hour and just chat.
Yeah,
He couldn't
Chris was-
understand the word I said though, because he said, "What's your name?" And I went,
That's
"Shabby."
true.
And he went, "Shappy." I said, "No, Shabby." All right, Shaffy. No. And he,
That's
then
all
he went
right.
out with his eyes like, "What? Shabby?"
said
Do you know what I mean?
Scuba Pete, and he goes, "Huh?"
Yeah.
Well, I had a weird one because I was like the girl in front of me. She's like, "Oh, can you sign this?" And he's like, "Sure." And she wanted it just signed, and she goes, "Well, that will be. I think it was $40 to sign. I can't remember what it was, $20 or something." And she's like, "What? That much?" And I'm like, "Oh, come on, lady." And she was rude. And he's like, "Yeah." And she left. And after all that, I'm like, "I'm sorry that." And so I had him sign a comic book that I had for Adam, and as he's doing it, I said, just sign it to Adam, and so it was free because you personalize it. But then I had him sitting in front of him. He had these prints.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And this is the
Hello.
first. This is the first panel from the silent issue, and I had him sign this, and it was like, oh, it's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
And
think
so
Damon showed that
awesome.
on Tub Thumpers. He
Cobra
had the
Castle.
actually original one. Damon wanted
Oh.
side. Was it that one side? Because he was saying it was a G.I. Joe, wasn't it? Was it that
Yeah.
one?
Did he have the original one?
For comic book lovers,
Yeah.
you've got to go back to the Tub Thumpers Monday night because some of the stuff that guy showed, original art, original pencil,
Yeah. You would dig
some
into
legends, and I mean absolute legends in the comic book game. I mean,
Yeah.
well, that's just quite a sharp contrast, then, isn't it? Really, from what Larry Hama does to what Sergeant Slaughter charges, there is quite a contrast there. From free to what is it, $100 meal or something with Sergeant Slaughter.
What Slaughter charges.
I gotta say that Larry was really, really cool and really nice. I've met him a number of times before and half my comic books are signed by Larry Hama. Because he used to come to Seattle all the time. But this time when I went, I brought some file cards. I brought a Wild Bill because that was one of my favorite characters. And while I was at the show, while I was flying there, I thought I should have brought a Tunnel Rat thing because Tunnel Rat was modeled after Larry Hama. And it was my brother's favorite character. And so when I got there, I bought a file card of Tunnel Rat. And I went up and said, "Can you sign both these to John?" And I told him about how Tunnel Rat was my brother's favorite character. And I was like, and I understand Tunnel Rat was modeled after you. And Larry told me the story about Tunnel Rat and how he came to be modeled after Larry Hama himself. And then he asked about my brother, like why he didn't come. And I was like, well, my brother passed away a couple years ago. In fact, we were actually coming up to Joefest to see Larry Hama.
Yeah, you were.
And my brother died on June 5th, which was right before Joefest happened.
I remember, John.
So we ended up not being able to come. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that." And then he said, "What was your brother's name?" And I said, "Mark." And instead of writing it for me, he wrote on the Tunnel Rat one, "To Mark, rest in peace, Larry Hama."
Oh, that's
that's a nice.
Yeah, it was really cool to have to do that, make this little tribute to my brother.
Can I ask you a question? Do any of you found out why he does it for free?
A lot of comic book artists do. If you go to a comic convention, I've almost never had a comic artist other than Mike Mignola. I've not really had a comic artist charge. And if they do ask for money, it's usually going to a charity, and it's only $5 or $10. They don't usually ask for much. They're not like an actor who goes crazy sometimes.
We're an hour in. Go on.
Oh, I was just going to say I asked Timothy Zahn to sign a book for me once, and I think I paid $30 for that.
Yeah, I've got it.
He signed 3 of mine for free.
Gary, what did you do?
Oh, Gary's always got one up.
Yeah. Gary,
just saying.
He's at ICCC a lot, and as long as you buy a book or something to bring a book, he'll sign it for you.
Hang on, they got
maybe that's what it was. Maybe I spent $30 on books and he signed one. I think that's
There you
I think
go.
that would be one I'd want at Timothy's arm because I'm not really one for autographs and stuff, but
Yeah,
Timothy's arms I'd definitely want Timothy's
I've got
arm.
I've got first editions of his first 3 Star Wars books signed by him, and it's like
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're an hour in. Would you like to see a gallery of our time, Si? Would you like to see what we all look like? Is a gallery of us lot at Joe Fest.
Oh, we're here!
Nice.
Was Leslie slapping somebody? I saw Leslie's hand in motion.
It's probably Bryce.
That's great. That full table with everybody up it. That's great. Like, everybody
Oh,
there.
I forgot
Hey,
about all those
Gabby,
girls at that
Gabby,
bar.
I know I was only there for about 24 hours in Augusta, but why were you the only one wearing a Hawaiian shirt?
Right, Scuba Pete. I'm blaming Scuba Pete for this, right? Yeah. So, Si, right?
No.
He goes, everyone wears Hawaiian shirts on Friday night, right? And I don't wear Hawaiian shirts. Right?
Hawaiian shirt night.
So I was like, he goes, it's Hawaiian shirt night, Shabby. Everyone wears it. Oh, all right, fair enough. I was the only bastard with a Hawaiian shirt on.
I never heard of this.
I had a tiki shirt on.
I was like,
It was really cool that Bob was there. Boba Hicks. It was really cool to see him there too.
Yeah, Bob Hansen.
Bob
Hansen.
Yeah,
really
Bob Hansen was
sweet.
a really nice.
Yeah,
Bob.
the comedian guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he came up.
Yeah, he flew
he
in.
was there.
He knew me was coming. So.
Did you notice that as well, though,
Yeah.
Simon? Sometimes what you'll do, Si, is you'll meet up with people that you know off YouTube in the community, but at Joe Fest, like Wilhelm Toys and Kempo, and
Kempo's always there.
Go Figure Adam and all that. It's always nice to see them. Do you know what I mean? So
Big Ray Bob and all them guys.
Exactly right, G-Force. Yeah. So
I was going to say that when we're sitting down outside in the lobby there, when we had our big crowd, it's not just us. There's people who come down those stairs and walk by every year. Now that I've been there 2 years, it's like they were there last year, and now when they walk down the stairs, they recognize us. They come to the table, say hi, and then keep going. You know what I mean? It's like, so you constantly have new people popping by to say hello and how you doing this year? Welcome back. You know, that
anything good?
Yeah.
Well, Zazel and that
Well, my
whole
next
crew.
question is
Yes, right. Yeah.
my next question is to everyone is actually the pickups, what you've picked up. So what I'll do this time round is I'll ask everybody individually, and you've got a 5-minute window to show what you've got, just so we can get to everybody properly.
I can do
So
a lot
we'll
in
go
5 minutes.
we'll do it order clockwise, and we'll do
I can show
G-Force
it all
first.
less than that.
So G-Force first, what did you pick up at Joe Fest?
All right, I'm just going to spin around and show some highlights here because it's easier than trying to explain it, probably. Yep. There we go.
Oh, nice.
So, one of my favorite things I picked up was a water moccasin. I've always loved it. It was complete, good price, so I picked up a copperhead for it as well. John had pieced together a bunch of shells and stuff last year with the bin that he got from Rob, and he had an extra snowcat and frostbite, so he brought that up for me. I sourced the missile rack and the ski torpedoes, so that's cool. Got a bunch of Joe vehicles, little small stuff. Got an Asp and a Whirlwind. Picked up an Empire Luke. The lovely Rob, always donating Masters of the Universe to me. Thank you, Rob. Also, an Emmett Smith figure, which I love. And he pointed out where the blockies were. So I got Shockwave and Soundwave in addition to the ones I already have. Picked up a little Karate Champ arcade.
Oh, that's cool.
Works.
Yeah.
She's fun.
Go.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah,
hey, Rob,
brilliant.
Are those Motus that you donate to G-Forces just doubles that you accidentally ordered?
Yes, triples maybe.
Triples.
Yeah, triples in most cases, right? So we got some Hasbro wrestlers, some Battlestar figures, a little Inspector Gadget, and an Osazu Guntress. So yeah,
I was surprised at how many little mini Legos
What was your bargain
figures they
piece
had
that you
there.
picked
It
up
was
there?
Rob, yeah.
my bargain piece, I would say probably the water moccasin. That was only $25 and it's complete. It's got everything.
That's a bargain.
That was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those were the highlights. I didn't go too crazy this year.
But still, a lot of stuff there. A lot to bring
A lot of
home.
stuff for sure.
Yeah, brilliant. And what about you, Shabby Geeks? What did you pick up from Joe Fest?
I've got quite a lot of stuff, and I've done a quick video on Instagram showing everything, but I'll just show a couple of the things. First of all, I wanted to. It's like I'm not going to get into buying vintage Joes or whatever because honestly, to work this out, the amount of stuff and the amount of thing it is, you know what I mean? And you're looking at one that are like $4, Si, and some that are like $5,000, and you're like, what the front? What am I up to? So what I did know, Si, I started to watch the cartoon last year, and genuinely, Si, I loved it. I thought it was great. So I thought I'm going to focus on the characters I liked out of there. Well, I wanted to get a Flint this year, but luckily Scuba Pete and his antique mold had found one, and it was complete, and it was nice, and it was a great price. And Andy sent me the card, so I just wanted to show this off because there's two lads here that did this, but they helped me out getting this. So I did it like that, and it's in a case that Andy sent. Now he's just leaned a bit because I've just pulled it off the what is it, but I got that.
Yeah, it's got that built-in plinth.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just wanted to say thanks for helping me out with that. That was awesome getting that one.
Oh yeah.
Sure, that's not Dez with that lean.
It's a desk. Yeah. I'm I've got to give Rob a credit, man, because he's got my new live stream cup. This has been ever since I've got this. He's been on every live stream, which is "Don't mess with Texas."
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Texas.
I got that. Where do you start? A couple of months ago, Andy and Gary did this auction, right? And they were doing that auction from the stuff that they had. And they both start off by saying, "Don't worry about it. We'll give you the right prices and so forth." So they pull out a Comic Con exclusive of Darth Maul on this speeder bike, right? So I went, "Oh, brilliant!" Right. So I put in a price, and Gary went, "No, Shabby, I'm not selling it for that and all that." And I was like, "Bastard!" You know what I mean? So Gary Moore, bless him, is right there. So. I was absolutely made up with it. So that was pretty cool. I went motued out this year, and Rob had sent me about 13 vintage masters, and I bought loads myself while I was right there. And Chris Mira had found me a Battle Cat, which was really, really nice. Because to find a Battle Cat at Joefest was weird. I couldn't find one in 3 days, and Mira found one, which was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. I suppose over the days, more stuff starts to come out, doesn't it? Really, over the days coming over, more stuff starts to come on the table, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, that's my Joefest haul for Masters of the Universe vintage. So I went crazy. I think I had 27 in a week, so that wasn't bad at all. So I did all that for that. A couple more things to show you. That was what I was saying about Rob and thanking Rob for helping me out to get that. It's the Larry Harmer signed G.I. Joe comic, like I said.
Yeah, amazing.
That was really nice. I did find, I was looking for old vintage, either Masters Universe mini comics or the Marvel Star ones. And Gary had found one, and it was 35, but it was only the one. And I thought, for 35, I could get. I didn't care about the conditioner outside. I just thought, I'll just get this. But I never realized that the DC did a series of 1 to 3, and this guy had them, all 3 of them, right here. And so what I did was I picked up all 3 of them right there.
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, and there was 65. I got them for 45, which I thought was awesome, and they're really, really nice condition. So I got them.
Yeah, and they're a good read if you ever have the time.
Yeah, I probably will do. This is. Now I've got to class this as Joefest because I was given to it at Joefest.
Too bad your 5 minutes is up.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Right.
You got that in the lobby in front of about 70 people.
Yeah.
walking
all these massive military lads on Shabby's going,
we pulled up and I unloaded it out of the car in front of a bunch of sweaty, smoky guys.
Ron Rudat sitting there looking at that.
And I'm like, what?
I absolutely, but I just want to show this thing because it's weird. You asked before, Simon, is there anything you wanted to Joefest that you wanted, what you came out with not thinking of? And I said, no, I'm everything I went for, I actually got. But there was a gift I got, Si.
Yeah.
And this thing just blew me away, right? Because everyone's going mad about expensive toys and vintage toys and so forth. I got gifted this.
Nice.
You about lost it on that one. That was your favorite thing.
So Rob Retro had this box, right? And he gave me that, and honestly, mate, I didn't know what to say. That is so up my Dolly Parton and Christmas.
Awesome.
Shabby and Rob came into our room, and Rob was Father Christmas bringing gifts for everybody, and he pulled that out. I thought Shabby was going to cry.
But I got a package thing off G-Force. I got stuff off Jeff Bark. Honestly, I got stuff of everybody, so I appreciate it, and so thank you all so much. So that's what I got.
Yeah. About you, Jeff?
Good stuff, Shabby.
Real pickups.
Well, starting off with the gifts, like I said, Rob, those guys came up to our room real quick, and Rob showed up with, it doesn't look like much, but an X-Wing original canopy. And it's like, holy crap, this is so cool. And I did find a $10 beater X-Wing I'm going to restore. And so that's going to go on that, hopefully. And then I talked about at one time, a long time ago on one of the streams about my ATST that I have in the back there, how I have to prop it up against a wall because it doesn't stand up on its own. So Rob brought me an original one that stands up and just gave it to me. It's freaking amazing, and I'm completely blown away.
Really good stickers.
It might be one of my favorite things ever. And then let's see what else. There was one guy.
So I'm getting a theme here. None of you bought anything at Joe Fest. Rob gave you all everything. I'm getting a theme.
Rob saved us all a fortune. Yeah.
There was a guy
Your list with Rob first.
There was a lot of people that had Star Wars stuff, but there was one guy upstairs that had nothing but Star Wars. It was okay, and so he had.
It was okay.
He had the play set, and Andy had bought the shipping box in this like the day before.
I like that.
And it was complete. It has all the stands, but I already have this, but I mainly wanted the cardboard. And so picked that up. I picked that up the day we were leaving. I was like, I got to go back and get that, and then
Anna was like in the car waiting with the engine running, and you're like,
it's like, I'll be right back. I'm gonna get that. And then for my wall of boxes over here, I want a lot of all the original Star Wars labeled boxes I'd like to get. So it's a little bit beat up, but I picked up a Star Wars Landspeeder box.
Nice.
And then probably one of my favorite pickups of the whole trip is an in the box Battlestar Galactica Cylon Viper.
I've never seen that in the box.
It's
cool. Second chance toys.
It's a little beat up, but the vehicle's in here, and it's the rocket firing version.
Well, they made a version that didn't fire rockets.
Yeah, because that's the reason why the rocket firing bullet.
They glued them in.
Yeah, they glued them in because a little boy.
I thought that they never fixed it on that one. I thought it was.
No, I have another one that doesn't shoot.
I've never seen one that doesn't shoot.
Yeah, and then I also picked up a Shogun Warrior. I try to collect all the die-cast Shogun Warriors.
Yeah.
I want to get into those littler ones.
Damon got a big one, didn't he? Damon bought a big one.
They're hefty for their size.
Yeah. I think I have 8 or 9 of these, and I love these things.
Yeah.
Jeff was like, what you were like 4 booths down the aisle, and I'm like, Jeff!
Like, there's one down here. There's one down here. Hurry up.
Get over here.
Yeah. And then, I think, like you said, we gifted each other a lot of stuff. I took a lot of stuff with me that I dropped. I took a lot of things I graded. I sold Gary a couple of figures from my big collection I have. I took 3 figures from that I dropped off to be graded. I had a Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander that was loose I took with me to be graded. And
nice.
One thing I was really looking forward to is John had his auction a few months ago, and you brought all that stuff to us that we'd bought, and so we picked all that up. And I dropped off the Imperial Gunner with the gun and the coin, and they're grading that right now too. And Shabby, I need to get you that other Imperial Gunner I have.
No problem, pal.
Cool.
Well, that's awesome.
So
let me ask you, Jeff. With the sake of like your other half going as well, Anna. What's she like? Did she find things like Leslie Pete? Did they find things that they like at Joe Fest, or did they not bother with it? Are they like, just go shopping for the day?
My wife couldn't care less about the show itself. She stood in line with us for the opening night. She stood in line and got her wristband, gave it to me, and she goes, "I'll see you later." And I felt bad because her and Leslie get along so well, and her and Leslie stood. They sat in the hallway and waited for us a lot. And
they were people watching, which they were having.
They were people watching
and drinking.
They were drinking from the bar. They were making fun of a lot of people, so they were fine. But they had a good time. And Andy's other half, the 3 of them, they went out and explored a little bit and had some good and had some fun. But they get along with this group so well that
what was it? They got onto Augusta.
Yeah, they were able to get up to one of the gates for the Augusta National Golf Course, and they weren't able to get in, but they were able to get to one of the gates and look around and came back out. But so because we've been trying to get onto that for every year for 5 years, trying to go into that, and Yeah, but she's like, I'm not. Every year she's like, I'm not going back. There's nothing to do there. But we end up going back.
Yeah, I suppose it's a meeting up with everyone in it, really. Do you know, she gets to see her friends and stuff, doesn't she, really?
Yeah.
It's not like just for the Joe Fest, is it? I think that when we all meet up, it's not really just the do, is it? It's meeting up with everyone that you talk
It's
to
the
all the time.
toys are a bonus.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's how it's become, yeah. And what about you, Gary? What was your pickups?
So, like you just said, the only reason I was going to Joe Fest was basically to meet people that I'd never seen before, which I thought was going to be absolutely awesome. So, being there and being excited a day early was great. And then everybody strolled in. But my first pickups was actually from Jeff, and so I picked up. There we go. 32 back ESB Yoda. Which was super cool. So
where they crammed him, they crammed Yoda in the corner up there.
That's right. There you go. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah,
lovely.
Love the ESB card back. So there we picked up the Yoda, and then the second one was I think 41 back Red Snags.
Wow, cool.
What's the offer? Oh,
that's the survival action kit.
Survival kit. Oh, it's unpunched.
Yeah, survival kit. Unpunched.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So those were
that bubble's
the first
pristine, isn't it? That bubble's
yeah,
really
gorgeous. Really
great,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think that might go off to grading the Yoda. Every time I look at it, I keep changing my mind. It's got a litho tear with the sticker on, and again, it's not an issue, but it's just one of those ones you go, yeah, they'll probably ding it too much for my liking. And then I picked up this, which was I couldn't not bring him home, but this is Gary the Gremlin. Look at the face on that.
It looks just like that's exact.
Only a face the mother would love.
Yeah,
it was just like it was. As soon as I saw this, I snapped Danielle on a picture of it, and she goes, "No, you got to have that. You got to bring that home." So it was just like Gary the Gremlin. So that was cool. And then my mini beat of okay, now I have to find Tron figures, and that turned into everybody searching around and looking for Tron figures. So my pickups, which were absolutely awesome, is Flynn with disc. So Flynn, I think Flynn was the first one. Found him and went, oh, okay, that'd be great if we could find some others. And then along came Tron.
Way to go, programs.
Look at that. All the white still on it.
No disc on that one.
Immaculate.
No, but the paint.
But
paint, you're right, Pete.
It was so good. And then was it G-Force again, I think? Or maybe Sags?
No, that one was me. That was John.
That was you?
Yeah. You asked about it, and I was like, he's right over here. We ran a couple
disc
with the disc.
Yeah, that's right. We did. We ran over, and again, just immaculate condition. All three were priced lower than what you could pick up on eBay, and still they cut a deal for each one of them. So I was super happy to pick up.
Gary, does Sark still taste like cherry if you lick it?
I don't know.
What's funny is, what I thought was funny is we couldn't find the common fit. That guy, we couldn't.
There you go. We couldn't find him. So since I got back, I went on the Tron mission. So a couple of recent pickups is the Warrior, and then
wow,
oh
baby,
beautiful,
awesome,
yeah.
You're fortunate on that Flynn figure though, Gary, because I saw him and I was gonna go back for him, but you had already got him at that point. I was like, oh.
And then
snooze, you lose.
Oh, nice.
That's it.
So again, just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm now on the retro or the vintage, Tron line. I'm missing a disc and a stick.
Is that all the figures? Is that all the figures?
Yeah, mini beat, right? Perfect. Yeah, 4 figures, two light cycles. That's it. So I thought it was a good way to do something different, but not go down a rabbit hole like Joe.
Yeah.
4.2 million figures that I'd have to go and grab.
1,000. There's 1,000. Well, now there's more. there was 1,059 different O-ring GI Joe figures through the years, but now that they put them, you know, with the those ones that came with the Transformer GI Joe crossovers count, you know, so yeah, there's probably a good 1,100.
The jungle is massive.
Just look at the condition of them.
It's
look
just
at the condition.
Yeah.
The condition is unbelievable. Because usually you get these
just pulled off the shelf. Yes,
I agree, G-Force. Yeah, look at it.
Yeah.
Look at
And
that.
then the
1981.
beautiful Tommy.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
And they're actually really heavy. They're because they're ripcord, right? Yeah, they're ripcords.
Yep.
They ripcord. So if you see there, it comes with a ripcord, and you put it in there and pull it, and it goes shooting off. So no ripcords, but yeah, just immaculate condition. And then the other two figures that I picked up that I don't have with me are Rocksteady and Bebop. So I always said, if I find a Rocksteady and Bebop together, I'll pull the trigger and buy them. And so we searched around, kept on finding one, and then the other one, then the one, then the other, and then one store where we picked up the Gremlin, they had the other two as well. So we got Rocksteady and Bebop. So.
Squishy heads or hard heads?
Hard heads.
Yeah.
Lone Dragon says that's why I want to go to Joe
81,
meet
right?
people. Yeah, well, come next year,
definitely.
meet people.
Lone Dragon, I'm telling you, it is.
You'll have a good time.
You will have a blast wherever you walk. There's someone you know. Be it down to you think like, oh, there's nobody in this hallway, and now you have a half-hour conversation with someone you thought you'd never bump into. It's awesome.
Like Cheers.
Yeah,
It is like Cheers.
He gets stopped a lot. He's made
So PJ Rice. So Gary met up with the real Gary. I think that comes.
just don't feed me after midnight or put water on me.
If stuff breaks at the house, does Danielle blame Gary the Gremlin?
Yeah.
Damn it, Gary the Gremlin.
Yeah, never put water on Gary. He's never ever showered or cleaned up.
And he also wrote, I know a joke about a stick, but it's a PGM joke, so I don't know where that's going.
What's brown and sticky?
Don't ask Gary about tea.
Stick. But yeah,
about
just
you,
meeting
Pete?
up,
What did you
meeting
pick
up
up
with
while you were there?
everybody was awesome as well, by the way.
Yeah, it's the best part, isn't it, to tell you the truth? Yeah.
And
it's funny, isn't it? Because like we were talking about it on the night, Gary, there's no awkwardness at all. None. It's just, you know what I mean? It's like we all known each other we have known each other a long time, but you know, it's funny that, isn't it? That we just all get on and dead natural. Like, Brad, did you feel like, because I know you come into all us lot, and you know, I know a few of the lads, but most of us you haven't really met on this side. Were you awkward at all, or were you just like, no, these?
No, I feel like I've known y'all. I mean, for a long time. I know that I haven't really. We've seen each other in passing on YouTube videos or on whatever, but no, I mean, this to me, you guys are like family. It's just like you see them, you see. You get it's just a different way of getting to express our love for what we get into and be little stupid old adults, I guess. So
back in our day, we had us
with money.
With the fundage to back it up.
I was gonna say that too. Like it's like because I don't come across a lot of Brad's stuff online, but I'm aware and I know him and see him once
you
in
see
a
him
while.
in the chat all the time.
And and the minute we saw each other in person, it's like we were old pals that had known each other forever. There was no awkwardness or weirdness at all. And the same with Chris, like Chris Miwa. I felt like I didn't know him that well, but as soon as we bumped into each other, we were like, this guy's like a rock and roll star.
Yeah, Keith and Margaret the same way. They just straight in, didn't
exactly.
It was so fun to see him. Like the closer we got, the more pumped up and jazzed he was getting. Because he rode shotgun because he gets motion sickness. So we're like, you're up front, you're in the navigator seat, always. Yeah. And Leslie and I'll rotate when we drive. But as we're getting, he's oh man. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't believe I'm going to meet everybody. It was like we pull in and he was just like, we're here.
How was he on the ride home there, Skipper?
Do what?
How was he on the ride home with everybody, coming down off that high?
He was, so we went and saw Michael and Melinda, and he rode back with Michael. So they got to have like a 3-hour Jeep conversation, the two of them. And And then I rode with Leslie because he was like, "Oh no!" He's being very nice. I will ride with you. I came with, and I was like, "No, ride with Michael, and you guys can hang out and shoot the stuff for 3 hours or
That's
whatever."
cool.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "I'll ride with Leslie. It's fine. Are you sure? Are you? Michael's like, hey, I think Miwa ought to. I was like, you and I are on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's. And so finally, I was like, Chris, go with Michael, and we will see you at the same destination. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Like, we got your stuff. Good to go.
That's cool. Yeah, because you guys spent the night there.
Yeah, because the way his flight was out of Atlanta. Yep.
Yeah, your photos from there looked like you guys were having a hell of a time too.
Yeah.
Right, Scoops, what did you
They
get?
were listening to Kylie Minogue and playing with toys.
Right?
Yeah.
You know it. So, speaking of Mr. Miwa, he gifted me this complete Alpha Probe shuttle.
He did bring it with you.
He brought it with him in his luggage, and he also, when he landed in, he went from Netherlands to Minneapolis, and he went through customs, and he was pulled into the room because he was also traveling very light, and he, of course, had this in his luggage. But the guys, he said he had 3 different people question him on his itinerary, who he was going to see. Who is this Scuba Pete?
So, what exactly is an alpha probe?
Yes, right. What kind of probing are you planning on doing here, sir? But yeah,
Did he go, hey, I'm Dutch?
yeah. I mean, and it works. It's not got
loud.
batteries in it, but it's
loud.
ridiculously loud. So
Seriously, Pete, though, the back does come off.
that's what she said. Rob gifted me some cool Rambo stickers and VHS of the cartoon because an R-rated movie needs a good cartoon.
Yeah.
G-Force. He also gifted me a Geeky Tiki He-Man mug, but that's on the Tiki Bar, Rob.
In the tiki.
And G-Force gave me Tiki ice molds.
Oh,
What's that? So now I got to make a couple hundred of those and have stashed for get-togethers. I immediately hit Delta 17.
Their stuff this year looked amazing.
Yep. So this is the
Yeah,
Hailstorm
got one of them.
in the Cobra red and blue.
Yeah.
They also have it in gray. But
Yeah.
I got that and their killer Desert 2-pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that desert stuff they had, it was really cool.
And then promptly, I had my friends, Greg and Natalie from Seymour up the way. They saw me. I bet I hadn't been on the sales floor 15 minutes. And Natalie walks up to me and does the Terminator. Come with me. And I'm like, okay. And she takes me. She's like, you got to see this booth. And I was like, we're going to Stefan and Steven's booth. I guarantee it. And we did. We walked right up to the Action Force booth. And she goes, look at all this Action Force. And I'm like, hell yeah. And they're like, hey, Scuba, how are you? And she's like, what? You know him? And I'm like, what's up? What's up? But they treated me right. I also was on a budget. We've had to get the roof put on from the hailstorm. So I was behaving myself. But the Stefan and Steven treated me right. I picked up this awesome Panther box with insert.
You were giddy about that.
Yep. And then the annuals that I had no idea were below me that G-Force is like, dude, look down, you big dummy.
Yeah, do you remember them? Gary,
I didn't have
inside?
these, so
Remember them as kids?
yeah. What else? Oh,
Yeah, piles of
random.
them.
Yeah, they did. They had piles of them.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
that and the records with it, but
That's a good one.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
and then I went silly.
You did. I love. We saw those. We saw those. We were like, I gotta have those.
Yep, because this is still the ridiculous Imperial toy mold, once again repurposed with battery compartment and red eyes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
it's also the same dinosaur mold that they use for the Dino Hunters for Joe. They just shrunk it
Joe.
down a little bit, folded the arms. So now I have
Yeah.
3 dinos but then I couldn't leave his buddy behind. So
I know.
Yeah.
That
did a
guy
little package deal for those.
That guy had some good
Gotta
prices.
get all the variants.
Right? And then it's down here on the floor. Hold tight.
Love the Imperial dinos. They're so cool.
This was after
I
Joe
can't
Fest.
believe you got this.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I want
We
to
saw,
now.
we saw that at the antique shop.
I'm going to get it now, John.
You got to go get it. 1968 Hasbro showed it earlier on Stu's, but it's complete, and it was $40. And I actually had $40 left over from Joe Fest budget, so this is what I ended up snagging, and I love it. You know, it's awesome. You can build.
It sounds like a good price for that. Is that?
Yeah, I was expecting it was going to be like 100.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I'll have to see how much it is in my area, but.
Gary, this would look really good with those Tron figures. I'm just saying.
Exactly. There you go.
Oh,
yep.
That's funny that we saw the same thing. We were both looking at it, pointing it out at the antique.
I think
mall.
I showed it to Shabby before too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
That's funny.
I can't wait to build on it, honestly.
Yeah, it looks cool.
But then I also got, Fraggle Rock, exactly like the Doozers. Yeah. And then, of course, I had the bag of Star Wars figures from John that I got from his auction. So,
the auction was awesome.
Yeah.
We all did really good, basically, all of us.
We did. We did really well.
Honestly, what I'm seeing. Yeah. And what about you, Brad? What did you pick up while you were there? I heard some foxholes mentioned.
So I'm going to blame G-Force for a lot of this. So
I just saw one thing.
Well, it's funny. It started with this one. I'll start with this here. So found a Pidge Voltron card, and I was like, oh man, it would be so nice to find those. Just the 5 pilots. That's all I wanted at first. So it started with this one.
At first.
Then I was like,
poor fella.
there was 2 loose figures at one table, and I was like, I've got to go back and get those, but they'd already sold one, so all they had was Hunk left over.
Cool.
And I said, I think I forget who, but I was like, I'm a big Keith fan. I'd rather have Keith than anything, so somebody help me get Keith.
Nice.
Then
Yeah.
G-Force says, you know what? I know where there's a full Voltron and a full set. So, sure enough, $800 later, I had a full Voltron and all 5 figures complete. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do these things justice. I'm going to take them over to CAS. And I'm not going to grade them because I don't want to do that to them because white will never grade well. So I was like, I'll just have them archived in acrylic. So did that.
Cool.
But I also found a carded King Zarkon.
Oh, wow.
Skull Scavenger.
So all this was this all purely a nostalgia buy, Brad?
Yes, yeah. This truly.
I
loved Voltron.
Yeah, Voltron. Oh, yeah.
I think there's going to be a big resurgence this year when they do the Netflix series with Henry Cavill.
When you were showing off what you found, I was like, oh man, there's another.
Yeah.
I had no idea you found that many cards.
Oh yeah.
I can't either. I've never seen.
We went to another booth to find some of those carded ones. Yeah. They had 3.
I couldn't find a Copmaster Whip, but he found a Village of Blooming Voltron. You know what I mean?
So how is CAS gonna archive? Like, how's the display gonna go?
So I really had to fight with them over the lines forming Voltron. I wanted to do the figures beside each component of Voltron with all their accessories, and they go, "We can't. It's going to fall apart. I don't want to do it." And I was like, "Well, I get it, but I really want this in acrylic." So I pushed, and I'm gonna get all 5 figures in a longer box with their accessories side by side.
That'll look super cool.
Yeah, and then
You dropped those
Voltron
kids.
will have his smaller accessories in a little thing, just a box with his sword and him, and that's going to be it for him.
There was a certain thing like that.
But he'll be
those,
Voltron will be formed.
Yes,
right?
he will be formed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
There was the Gloob 3/4 inch 18 figures. There was an acrylic case like that, wasn't there? And they were all next to each other with their accessories.
Two
I
of
saw
them.
the one.
Yeah.
Two of them, Gary.
The
Yeah, so
five,
that
yeah, they did the 3.75 and the 5-inch or 6-inch line.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh,
how much was the graded flag that they had on?
It was
10,000, I think.
17,000.
It was 17,000 in the box graded.
Wow.
You sure? I thought it was 11,000. No.
I got I can't remember his name, unfortunately. Francois Chang.
Dharma.
Yeah. From Lost, or Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. He was pretty awesome.
Or
gentleman.
Quick Kick. He was Quick Kick in G.I. Joe.
I didn't know he was.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Why am I? That's cool.
Then I've backed Blue Milk's vintage collection books since they come out, and this is one of the collector's items I hadn't had. I had the Empire Strikes Back one, but it's put up, so I wanted the Star Wars cover one.
Killer.
I'm just going to keep it sealed, and then the stuff that I did not expect to find. There's only 2 of them in here right now. Well, actually, I think it's just 4. Let's see. I have, all right, so Boba Fett was found in the hallway.
Just running loose, and you were
can
like,
y'all
hey,
see?
stop.
Yep. So he was actually the 2-pack. He was with the, where he was in the robe from the Tuscan camp, and then that one.
yeah.
And then I believe that's all I've got out right now, because unfortunately I had this little fellow come in, and then
cool.
I had this thing come in.
Oh, that is awesome.
That's a studio scale.
That is cool.
Hello.
Let's see. Let me see if I.
Damn,
It actually does light up. Oh,
Yeah.
That is huge.
Does he also have the audio?
Yes, it does. It's just not that loud.
Gatorless system. Gatorly.
Narful the Garthog.
It's cool. That. Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear it or not, but yeah, that's
Sweet.
Is that still available, or are they sold out?
yes. There's only 1,000 of them made, so you need to get it while you can. It's $1,000. Just so you know.
That is cool. Hey, Cy, remember the giant one at Star Wars Celebration going through the crowd?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
love
where he was
that
like,
video.
you just see it
It
like,
was quite eerie as well when it went past you. You heard that noise.
yeah, and you're
It was
like, oh,
quite eerie. You felt
yeah, you were like,
going,
shit.
"Whoa."
He's got a spot.
Yeah.
You did go. I think you spent the most money out of everybody.
Really cool.
Brad. You went
Yeah.
crazy, Brad, to be honest. You went nuts, man.
That's awesome.
I blew my budget from the first thing I bought, because I didn't expect to find anything, want anything. I was going to be good, and
You were shocked.
the
The whole
hot
show.
toys were just flowing, and they were at good prices. So hey,
I remember when you came up with
Brad,
it,
it was
said,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what you say. How many have you bought now? 5. And we were like,
Yeah. Yeah, we're all
Like,
like,
I've been here less than 24 hours.
I was talking to Gary, and Gary, I'm like, how's Brad doing? He's like, he's going nuts.
he did the
Gary
straight
enjoyed every bit of it.
Going nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Right, John, let's have a look what you got, buddy.
well, most of it's been put away, but yeah, like the Thundercracker. I got a lot of Yoda stuff. Chris Miwa brought a die-cast Yoda that I didn't even know existed. That was so cool.
Hey, that was me. That was me.
That was
Cheeky.
Gary
That
Moore.
was you. That was Gary. Okay.
Yeah, cheeky.
Yeah,
John, getting
Gary
old
did
stuff.
okay.
Dirty
And,
bastard.
and Gary did the
They're all
You did-
foreign to John, Gary. You're all foreign
Exactly.
to John.
yeah. Did you also do? You were also the Yoda
Yeah.
Bendham and the Yoda.
Random.
The
Some,
Yoda
some other
applause.
little figure.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got a lot of
Thanks for the
Yoda stuff
recognition.
from Gary. Yep. From Gary Miwa. You know, like,
Gary Miwa.
Gary,
Gary the
Gary
Gremlin.
Miwa.
England, Netherlands.
Yeah, whatever. It came from somebody. Yeah.
Whatever.
So Gary the Gremlin got me that stuff. Yeah, and then G-Force found a couple of Yoda things when we were out, which helped the Yoda collection. They were very inexpensive and priced good. But I think some of my favorite finds are the case.
That was
And
good
then,
fun. I've never seen that case.
When we were out afterwards at one of the things, $12 for an original.
What?
Oh, yeah.
And what did he say as
Lovely.
well? There was a thrift shop in North Carolina, and the guy's just he just bought it and opened it. And he said his brother has got all vintage Star Wars. He's bringing in a couple of weeks, didn't he, John? Said he's bringing all
And the
vintage
prices were that good that this guy's going to be selling some of that vintage stuff for like get out of here prices. You know what I mean? Like he wants to sell them fast. It seems like so.
Yeah, they weren't collectors,
Yeah.
were they? He's just his brother had them as kids, and he just wants to get rid. So
Yeah.
John, that was my lunchbox my very first year at school.
Nice.
That's so cool. All right, then I'll next time I see you, you can sign it.
Well, nice try, Andy, getting it. The nostalgia did not work on him.
You can touch it.
Sign
The
it.
pen.
You can touch it.
And the bunch of Joes and stuff that I got. I loved everybody stepping over me on the floor as they walked by, and I was digging through bins. Hey, John's on the floor again. There's John on the floor. Hey, John, how you doing on the floor?
yeah,
So-
Chiefos has got a great picture of you with all these kids just going through all these oases, going through all these drawers.
But yeah, that was. I mean, yeah, everything's kind of been dispersed. So yeah, unfortunately, but yeah, it was just a good time. Lots of cool stuff.
Awesome.
About you, Rob?
Okay, well,
Rob was busy.
yeah, and I'll start with so we left Sunday morning, so we didn't go to the show on Sunday morning. So Saturday night when we were there, that was not the plan. I didn't know. I hadn't thought about it yet because my son had baseball camp to be back early. So I left some meat on the bone because there was a few things where I was expecting to pick up on Sunday. Like I'd already had picked out a complete Thunder Machine, complete Water Moxican, Devilfish, and the Devilfish box, and a couple more Joes I was going to pick up. So it's a little bummed about that. Left a little meat on the bone, but that's okay because I came home with some money. So anyways, so I purely went for Joe's, and some of it tied into last year's Joe pickup. So last year I got a complete Snowcat with Frostbite. So this year I found the box. So
And that box is in great
really
condition.
nice. Yeah, still
It
has
just
the
came off the
plastic window.
Yeah.
Still has the card in it with the points. So that was
That's cool.
Really
Yeah.
nice.
That's a nice looking box. Yeah, I like it.
So really nice. That was a nice pickup. And then
Hey man, nice box.
last year I picked up Serpentor's Air Chariot. And I guess I picked it up just thinking Serpentor was going to be an easy pickup, but I quickly came to find out that he is not an easy pickup, especially complete. So
And unbroken.
No teeth. Teeth are good. Teeth are good.
Found a really nice one.
breaks.
Yeah, no rips in the armholes. So it needs complete. So all my Joes are complete. The accessories and stuff I usually don't keep out with them, so they're put up.
Now, which of the three color snakes did you end up getting?
I think he comes with a
Brown?
gold one.
Well, there's a brown one,
Or
there's a
maybe it's
dark-
brown.
There's a dark gold, and then there's a light gold. There's three different variations.
And then there's solid gold. Isn't that weird?
And then another one I really wanted was I wanted a complete, really nice Spirit.
That's
nice.
So
Look at
yeah,
that
he's
blue.
really nice.
Hard to find the blue on him.
Yeah, the
in
blue
good
and
condition.
the wristbands.
Yeah, that blue is tough.
Yeah. So he was a nice
Well, even
pickup.
the
and
rivets
then-
are still blue.
Yeah, and he came with his. So the eagle still has his talons, which is nice. So
Nice.
So yeah, I always go in with a few Joe like heavy hitters, like I call them, just based on the price and the rarity. So
Things
another
you
one
need.
was a straight arm 82
Oh,
snake
yeah.
eyes.
You did well on the straight arms.
Yeah, I picked up quite a few. So I think I got 582 straight arms. So I got
Oh, sweet.
complete
He was
rock
one
and
of my
roll.
very first
Again?
G.I. Joe
Oh.
figures. He was,
I
Yeah.
told Rob that was my first GI Joe was Rock and Roll.
yeah, he was one of my first. Yeah, I remember him.
So a lot of
I
these
still
are
have
like,
the one that I got. I still have the one I got as a kid.
yeah, you gotta like a lot of them because they come with those helmets. So a lot of them
Yeah.
are missing like eyebrows and hair. So he was really
Yep.
nice that he has his eyebrows and his hair. And Stalker had to get the
Stalker.
Ranger.
Oh, he's always so tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and last year I picked up Scarlet too, so that was a good pickup.
You did.
Always broken hand.
Then I was a little jealous of Shabby, so I had to go get me a Flint.
Awesome.
Oh, one of my faves.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a great figure.
And then last year, everybody probably remembers I was hunting the Cobra Commander. Well, I tried to find a straight arm in the booth I really like to go to for the Joes. They said they didn't have any straight arm this year, so I went with the hooded
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
instead. So
Yep.
pretty nice gold, missing a little on the front leg, but overall pretty nice.
I picked up a regular Cobra Commander from Miwa too. He didn't have one, so I bought him one for his collection.
That was a nice one. The crow
Yeah.
on his helmet.
Yeah.
He was
I
stoked.
picked it.
Jeff.
Yeah, I ended up picking up. I got 24 Joes, so I'm not going to show them all, but that's how many I got. 24. Why I didn't get 25? I think it was because I was going to come back the next day and pick some up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did get all the Dreadnoks. I'm missing a couple of the later ones, but all the early ones I did pick up.
Cool.
Then I got a complete vamp.
Hell yeah.
Did you get the tank? Yeah, you got the tanks in the back. Everything. Yeah, that's nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because last year I got a clutch,
Functional.
so I wanted to get the vamp to go with clutch.
Does it have the steering wheel?
Yep. Yeah, he's got the
Nice. Oh, that's a great vehicle.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, a lot of mine was Joe's, and I got gifts from everybody. I didn't bring out the gifts, but thanks to everybody. The Shabby picked me up the Ghostbuster frights, and I opened those the other day and was showing them. Me and my kids had a blast doing all the little facial things they do. And then Bryce picked up a bunch of Transformers, and I got to give a shout out to John on this one because I knew nothing about this guy, I didn't even know it was a G1. And so he really wanted this guy on Friday night. And I was like, no, we're not getting him. We're going to wait. We'll see if he's still there. And then Saturday, I said, if he's still there at lunchtime, we'll pick him up. And so, and to Bryce's credit, he brought his own money out of his piggy bank.
Oh,
and
nice.
He used his money to get this stuff. So he got Triptychon.
That's awesome.
And I just learned on an Instagram video that did you know Brad Garrett was the voice of Triptychon in the cartoon?
Right. I just saw that.
Yeah.
The same video. I was like, what the?
Yeah, I didn't know.
And
that
Hulk
either.
Hogan.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
He
Yeah.
played with that thing all night long.
Yeah, he loved that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that
I did
it's
play
pretty
with
cool.
it for
Like
a long time.
I almost kind of won it for myself. So
It's a
he
cool figure.
he also got these blockies, these Transformer blockies. I can't remember which one, but one of them he bought and one of them Shabby bought. Do you remember which one Shabby bought you? He's in here laying on the floor. He just doesn't want to be on camera.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, Side told me about these as well, that he really liked them. And
good to see you, Bryce.
yeah.
They're cool.
Hey, Bryce.
Yeah, cool.
Hey, Bryce.
Hey,
You
Bryce.
want to say hi real quick? You want to say hi real fast? Say hi to the guys.
Just us, you know.
Hey, Bryce.
What's up,
Hey,
dude?
bud.
Yeah, so that's it got more, but that's what I wanted to bring out and show.
I love that he's into them. I love that he's
Yep.
into them.
Yeah.
He loves Transformers.
Was there a certain price that you're going to go up to, Rob? Because what you just said something that was significant to me. This is the only con I go to, so I make sure I go with money, because there's certain things through the year I'll not buy, but I will buy at a convention. Do you know what I mean? So do you go in with that same sort of,
Yeah, especially
state?
with GI Joes, because this is usually the only time I get Joes during the year. Is just because I get such a better deal than I do on eBay.
Oh, yeah,
or,
eBay.
or anything like that. On eBay I can get good deals on Motu. I can get good deals on even Star Wars, but for some reason GI Joe on eBay is just expensive. Like,
Yeah.
Except
It's
for
crazy
me.
on all the
me.
whatnot,
What?
like everything is expensive for Joe's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah,
for
a lot of
me.
it, like Spirit, like I got this guy, like, so I got him for 80, and I think like he's easy 100 complete on
Usually,
eBay.
They
So
had good deals, really good deals there.
yeah,
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Everybody did well. Andrew,
And
Yeah, so far what I've seen, what everyone's picked up, yeah, really well.
How many maps did you get in, Andy?
No, sorry for being late. I was having the heck of a time getting my camera worked, and it's still not working, so I'm just using my laptop. But I picked up a couple of I wasn't too much in a buying mode. Gary had brought a couple things out from our collection that we still had, so got me some magazine that have posters in them. You know, like this guy.
oh, that's cool. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
they've got fold out
Yeah.
posters in them, and then I think there was like 5 of them, and I just grabbed a couple. Yeah, it's the official poster monthly.
I have a bunch of those. I love those.
Like this one comes with 8 posters in it.
Oh man, those are super cool.
Yeah, those are, I love that set.
You know I'm a sucker for that. But so Santa Rob got me something.
Yeah.
And guys, I think I just figured out what he was up to. It just occurred to me, and it's brilliant, Rob. So tip of the cap. And it's maybe something we should all learn from and try ourselves. But being that Rob drove, he packed his car full of stuff and gave out a lot of stuff.
he sure did.
So he emptied his payload only to fill it back up, so that by the time he got home, it looked like the same car that left the parking lot was coming back in. It's
Oh,
like,
that is pretty smart.
Oh,
Didn't
very
find a
good, Rob.
thing.
Very good.
Didn't
Yeah.
find a thing.
There you go.
I had more room.
Genius.
The mind of a police officer.
yeah,
I had
yeah.
more room going home than I did coming there. Let's just say that.
Let's,
Yeah.
yeah. I would.
I don't know how we so that shabby.
Yeah, we did though, didn't we? Crammed it in.
But Rob had heard me say at some point that my first and only Transformer was Sideswipe when I was a kid. And so
Nice.
he grabbed me this, and
Oh yeah.
man, this thing is
Ooh.
awesome.
Countach.
Yeah.
That
So
was my first and only Transformer as well.
and
Never had it. Always wanted it. Ever since Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
that's right.
robots.
And
But,
he still and he can't transform it.
I got this one.
oh no, I've transformed it and I took pictures of. So thanks again, Rob. Like this was awesome. I immediately got home and started fiddling with it. And then the real
Did Emily yell at you for like you were like running around the couch? Wow, wow. She's like, not on the furniture.
Yeah.
You kids get off the yard.
I picked up a baggie of the
Nice.
That is so cool. Oh, I gotta snack that.
Yeah.
and so it's sealed up.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
like
was
that
nice.
we as toy collectors we pay big dollars for baggies.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Did you
then
score a
you'll love
baggie?
this.
Sure
You'll
did.
love this one then. This is the other half of Jeff's purchase.
Yeah.
So did you guys go in on that together to get it to split it, or
No.
Because we were trying to make a deal with that glider and he wouldn't go for it.
Yeah, so I have the arena. I didn't have the instructions, so that was nice to get that too. But the mail away arena didn't come with a box; it was a mail away. So
Yeah, you just had a
and
cardboard.
yeah, so I was able to pick this up and thought that was a pretty good deal.
Emily said to me, she goes, "Can you believe what he paid for a cardboard box?"
That's not the most,
yes, I can.
This is not the most expensive box I've ever bought. So
Yep.
What's the tag on it? What's it from? Like, does it say Sears or J.C. Penney or Montgomery Ward?
It was mail away only, wasn't it?
Yeah. Is that
Oh, it's just straight up.
It says Fulfillment Systems Incorporated. And then there's the you can't see it, but there's the number that all the mail-aways have, different numbers that'll tell you what it is without opening it. But this says the address is from Illinois, but the street is the Oregon Trail Street. So
Kind of dysentery.
That was
quite fortuitous.
That looks like it came with some of the cardboard backdrops.
Well, he put his in there. He put
Yeah.
his in.
Oh, you put yours in it. Okay.
Yeah, I put mine in there when I got home. So,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
It's got my set in there. But yeah, that's
it up and it was in there.
I got a couple of at the Hakes booth. I got a couple of programs from their last two sales from the Jeff Jacobs auctions. I thought those were fun.
Yeah, that's worth getting. Yeah,
I grabbed those, and Jeff said he'd sign them for me just for fun. So,
nice.
fun. But yeah, that's really about it. I picked up a few things and had a few laughs and gave a few hugs out, and that was about
maybe,
a 24-hour whirlwind. It was
maybe
a
song. Did you sing a song
there?
Got a nap. Another nap.
A song.
I nearly got punched in the face off
Well,
Rob.
my very last question for the
Remember,
night.
Rob? Oh, sorry, I was going to say. So what happened was there was a side swipe downstairs, Simon, right? And there was one for 120 and all that. And I was going to race up to Andy and go, "I'm going to tell Andy about that." And Rob went, "Shut up,
Pipe down."
Yeah, sorry, Simon. Go on. What were you saying?
Well, I was going to say real quick.
No, just saying. So my last question of the
Andy,
night, really.
When I walked up to the Hakes booth, those guys were like, "Oh, we're waiting for you to die so we can have your comic collection." They know they were joking about my comic collection. They want it.
Us too.
Go on, Si. What are you going to say?
Just saying, the last question of the night was, how much were you looking forward to Andy's song and how bad was it? And what was your overall experience of Joefest?
It's become a tradition. Andy's song's good. I enjoyed it.
Do we have a sampling of that song?
No, I haven't got one. I
No?
think G-Force has got it. I think G-Force had it. You filmed it, didn't you, G-Force? You've got it.
I've got the long version.
I filmed the whole thing too.
It's like
Did you?
4 minutes, so they won't let it on.
Yeah, it was a long
Instagram
one
or
this year.
anything.
It was a long song.
Well, there was a lot of us, so you know.
I agree with that too. Yeah, I do. It was,
Well, you know,
You don't know how to
last year I
finish
did-
the song. That's the
Last year I did Oasis, and it was so bad they came out of the record straight. This year I did Warren G, so maybe we'll. Oh wait, Warren G passed away.
I don't think Nate Dogg's coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
no.
Epic Badger said, "I'll rewatch tomorrow." Yeah, we've had 20 people in all night, so I appreciate that. You know, no one. It's usually a British audience. That's awesome of everybody. So thanks for coming in. P. Jen wants to know: Did you arrest anyone, Rob? Like that person smuggling pants?
Oh, John.
No one got arrested. No one went to jail.
Absolutely brilliant.
So the song was really good.
Yeah.
Regulators by Warren G. Andy did it off the hook. I threw out the regulators at the beginning of the song. I don't know if anybody caught that. But Joefest was amazing.
West Coast classic.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So Brad and Gary, would you go
That's the
again?
last question. Really, what was your overall experiences? Yeah, what was your overall experience? Would you ever have a, would you next year? Would you think we're all definitely going again?
Absolutely.
Not like how we do it at the Toy Fair. We have such a good time. We can't wait for the next one. You know,
It's a blast, and this group is so welcoming too. Like you just walk around, you just feel like you can tell you walk around and you see people in groups and everybody just looks like kind of tired and run down. But our group is genuinely just so sincere, so nice, having a good time, trying to help everybody out,
We eat
making
together,
sure
drink together.
everybody's welcomed. Like,
Well,
it's
there was a
amazing.
lot of us this year. I mean, like I said, when we went for dinner each night, there was like 20 people walking.
Yeah,
walking
it seems
around.
like our group like this shows up, but then we keep getting bigger. Like there's more. Like
Yeah.
Steve,
Which you've got to give
Steven,
Leslie
here's
credit
this
for
guy.
as well, man, because she sorts out everybody's dinner.
Yeah.
She sorts out how
Yeah.
many are coming.
That's her
she
love
does it all.
language.
Yeah, she
But
does it all.
it's funny because I thought, oh yeah, we'll all meet up for dinner, and it's like one of those ones where you go like, oh, we'll all meet up for dinner, and you kind of just go off and do your own little thing. But no, we were
Oh,
all,
no.
we
No,
that
no.
first
It's all
restaurant
part
we
of
went
it,
to,
baby.
and we went, oh, we'll take those 2 tables, and they're like, no, we'll bring the tables over, and we had a massive table, all the way.
Like an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Could have put
And
up
thank
3
you
flags
for
on
that,
there.
Gary. Thank you again. Gary was gracious. That
awesome.
Yeah, you
Was
did pay
Leslie,
for everybody's
did
dinner, yeah.
Leslie, did she get those dancers Saturday night for us too?
That was
Oh, that was a
wild.
nightmare. I'd have loved that.
Saturday night, those were
Where do you think all
started.
those $1 bills came from?
Steven
That's
goes,
the
look
night
over
when
your
you really.
shoulder.
That's the night, say you really do want to look like Rob. That's the night you want to look like Rob. And you saw all those girls in that bar. Do you know what I mean?
I had my back to him, and Steven goes, "Hey, look over your shoulder." I was like, "Whoa, what's going on back there?"
Good thing Bryce had his headphones on.
Georgia shake.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. My
We're
wife.
live.
Yeah, my wife was sitting next to me the whole night. I don't know what you're talking about.
Brilliant. But yeah, it's
Dancers, slot machines. I mean, that
was
place
just-
had it all.
it's just really good fun. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like we've done it now for 3-4 years, haven't we? And I just can't. I personally, I can only speak for myself. I genuinely look forward to going. It's such a good experience, and in a way, I'm kind of glad I don't do other ones because I don't want to take the novelty off this one. This I love meeting up at this, and it's so easy, and
It's
you know what I mean.
distinctively its own.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the way I
Yeah.
look at it. So,
Yeah, Pete, what was that? Was that our 4th year or 5th year?
4th year.
4th year. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
4th year on the trot. Yeah.
Yeah, really fun. Always amazing,
No
and
problem.
always every year is slightly different and slightly different dynamics, but always fun.
yeah, I agree.
Well, and I think that's what makes it work. You're not trying to recreate last year or the year before.
Mm.
Yeah. Just see where it goes.
Yeah, perfect.
Always good for a laugh.
Yes.
Anything else? Anyone else got anything to say before we go?
It's great seeing you guys and Damon. Damon, was
Yeah,
great.
Damon, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
Damon.
to everybody for coming out. I mean, it
Keith,
was,
Margaret, Chris,
Yeah.
Mira.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Chris was absolutely amazing to see Chris, and then having the Jason 80s thing for Pete and Chris
Right,
and
yeah,
I.
all three of us in
Yeah.
the same spot. That was awesome.
It was cool seeing everyone. We see there a lot. Seeing
That's
Zazel
a great
and
picture. That
Yeah.
Zazel and Adam.
Poor
be
Damon
interesting.
had that horror story getting there too.
It'll be fun to see who comes next year.
Me.
Because
Yeah.
there will be more.
G-Force, Pete,
Martin,
Rob,
Stu.
Gary. Oh yeah, Martin and Steph are coming next year. They've already
Stu.
said that they're coming. So
You think Stu
Stewie,
will make it?
Georgie.
Yeah, there's talk.
Maybe we'll even get a Simon sighting. I don't know.
well, you were going to, but then I heard all these British were going, so I've decided not to just be like going on. I was just like,
He's like,
what's the point?
I
If everybody's British
I see
in
them
the
every
line.
weekend.
oh, brilliant. No, but it's I've got
You
to
never
admit,
know.
it's funny because you hear a lot of people that do these streams, and maybe it's the old cliche, and oh yeah, I go because of the people, but I genuinely do enjoy it to see all these people. I'm meeting new people, like I was made up when I met Gary Moore. I was made up. I just and then I did the same thing when I met John last year for the first. You speak to these people for over 5 years now, and they stood right in front of you. And it's just, it's one of the best experiences. Like Keith and Margaret, Mira, Damon, and you're like, they're the all
highlight for me. It's meeting Chris, meeting Brad, Gary, you guys hanging out for the first time ever in person. And holy hell, that was so much fun. Especially that last night down in the abandoned lobby. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was brilliant too. Really was.
Yeah.
It's funny when
Yeah, well, that's
when
great.
you leave,
I
you
like
get
how
that
Scuba and
that
Gary
calm
will
blues.
tell you we're the same
Yeah.
over here. You know, when we meet up over here, it's exactly the same feeling. So I know exactly what you're on about. It's unfortunately like Pete and Gary, they've met up with the British over here and everything, so they can tell you the same. You know, so
Yeah.
good in it.
It is.
It's totally the same. Like just sub a Premier in instead of the.
That was the only issue was the hotel this year because the way they got rid of Leslie and Scuba on a Saturday night, then we had a twin room and we had John just had the double bed and this was G-Force on the floor, basically me on the pull out. But I think you have such a good time, Simon, that things like that don't matter. You just go with it. You know
how long are you in your hotel for? 5 minutes, aren't you? You're in your hotel for 5. That's at night. That's it. So as long as you've got somewhere to get your head down, you're not bothered, are you? Really? Let's be fair.
I was in the hotel a little bit more than anybody else this year because I got sick.
That's what that picture of
you rallied.
I rallied.
Yeah.
Gary will never let me forget it.
Me and G-Force will never forget that smell.
They had to close off level 5 to decon it, but you were fine.
Let's just say there was an olfactory factor of this year's event.
Well, it's in a way it's a good thing though because you've told us all those stories about the way you shit everywhere you travel, and now we've experienced it. You know what I mean?
I keep a list. And now I can add that. Yeah,
you can add that.
It was so classy, wasn't it? It was going so well and so classy, and then you have to drop the bomb, don't you? That's
and
on that note,
he drops something. All right.
Think about next year at Airbnb because that hotel is expensive.
I think an Airbnb next year is the right way to go. It really is, yeah. And another nice thing, though, I've got to be honest, that really worked this year because I was talking to Pete and we were saying, I wonder if there's a place we can all go instead of a room because people sit on the floor and it gets warm and downstairs that reception area. I mean, we were there till 3 o'clock in the morning and no one told us the shift. It was awesome.
Some guy was sleeping on the couch next to us.
It was just brilliant. So it was a good experience, Simon. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Really did.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right.
Thank you all for having
us.
Thanks, Ty. Thanks, Shabby.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thanks
and Si, you did a good job. Thanks for the question, Si.
Thanks, Si.
Good on you, Si.
Appreciate it.
You're awesome.
Well, it's just the case of last time that you did this, Mark, because you did all the hosting and everything. You didn't really get to talk about your experiences or what you picked up or, the time that you had. So I said this time round, if you do it, because I didn't go, so I'm only listening to everybody's stories. It's good to have an outsider in. I'm speaking on the voice of all us lot that couldn't get to Joefest. Do you know what I mean? Because there is a lot of people that are seriously thinking about going. Do you know what I mean? So it could get bigger and bigger every year. And that's what happened over here. Started off with a trickle, and all of a sudden there was 40 people at the last event. So
I think this one does because I think Gary was saying before about I talked to you, like I'd phoned you, like you were in an Autobots group chat. And I'd gone out and show you how that line was outside in that heat. And I thought, wow, man, there's so many people here. So, but it was, and I like the fact that it was 2 floors. The swap meet was a bit hit and miss, wasn't it? Because it was in rooms.
Always
all over the place. But apart from that, even upstairs was good this year, to be honest.
Well, like Steve says, Steve goes to a lot of these shows, random Steve. And this year he's like, this is my favorite show.
This is an amazing group of gentlemen. Thank you for sharing your Joefest experience. Shabby and Si, keep up the great works. Yeah, we will. We've got Darren on Tub Thumpers on Monday, so that'll be a good one. But apart from that, thank you all for coming. Andy's having a bit of issues with his thing, so he's just messaged me and said he's not going to come back on. Well, that's great. So we're going. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Guys.
Say good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Guys.
See ya.